something like this. Hit it.
The Roger Report live morning show, weekdays at 9 a.m.
Say y'all, I was on Roger's panel a few times and I couldn't take it. The heat. I got out the kitchen. It was hot. I was sweating. I had to get out.
He's Roger, and he's right.
Check this out.
We can live or die. You choose. I have spoken to you a lot of times in hatred and anger, and you have not heard me. Well, you had better hear me today. If you won't listen to me when I make an appeal for the Negroes because you have no concern for the Negroes, listen to me when I make an appeal for America. You claim you love America. Well, we love America. But you are driving us back and you are making a Samson out of us, and we are going to pull down the pillars. And then you think we have no right to ask for something? Is it too much to ask you to grant us human dignity? Should we be put down and shot to death for this request? If so, you can aim your guns. What the hell do you think we care about dying if you're going to deny us the right to live?
Good morning, folks, and welcome to another edition of the Roger Report Live, the best show on social media. If you are new to the channel, go ahead and take a moment out to hit that like button, because this is where you're going to find the best content on social media, and you don't have to worry about it because you're going to have me right here to make sure that happens. And if you've already been coming to the channel for a while, then go ahead, hit that like button, because you already know what time it is, and you know that this is where you're going to get the best content on social media. It's not a mystery to you at this point. You've seen other people do it. You've seen other people do it well. But what you have not seen is anyone do it quite the way I do it. So make sure you hit that like button. And everyone, yes, everyone, take a moment out to share the content, y'all. There are so many people who need to get great content like this. And it's just a small thing you can do to help the world be a better place. And isn't that what we want at the end of the day? Don't we want the world to be a better place? Of course we do. So share the content out. Share it through your social media. Share it through word of mouth, or even text someone's phone. But do what you got to do to help spread the word. All right, folks, today we are back with another interesting subject. Now, it's gonna be nice to see where this goes, but we coming to solve problems, y'all. We solving problems like we do on a regular basis, y'all. We solving problems, okay? We are going to be talking about this. Black women are not part of the Black community. Yes, y'all, Black women are not part of the Black community. I understand. An intriguing title, but we're going to have a real discussion, y'all. It's hard to improve things if you won't get real about what you need to improve. It's hard to fix things if you won't get real about what you need to fix. It's hard to make things better if you won't get real about what ain't good enough. Okay? So we're going to deal with this as a real deal concept. Black women are not part of the Black community. But before we go too far into this, let me first give some shout outs where shouts are due. We got great people who help support the channel. We have people who step up to the plate and become financial contributors. And, they help me do things the way I do, because I can't do things the same way without them. So they always got to get props. And let's say shout out to the sponsor of today's stream. The sponsor of today's stream, y'all. believe it or not, just as a happenstance, it happens to be the real Michelle Obama, y'all. Shout out to the real Michelle Obama, who is the sponsor of today's stream. And as I told y'all before, big or small, I do appreciate it all, y'all. Big or small, I do appreciate it all. Now, I guess I should say that I believe the person who dropped these dollars, I believe that was Red Pill Sleeper Cell. I believe that was him. Okay, I believe that was him. I don't think it was actually uh, the Michelle Obama married to Barack. I don't think it was actually that Michelle Obama, but they came through with the name the real Michelle Obama. So it is what it is. And you never know. Maybe it was her. You know, you never know. Heck, she got a podcast now. So if she's if she's trying to improve her quality of her podcast, you know, it's great to listen to the Roger Report live, and that's real talk. That can help her out big time. If she want to get better at podcasts, she definitely can listen to this channel, and she would definitely improve. So, you know, shout out to all the people who want to improve. You watch it right here, and your stuff will get better. Real talk. But let me say what's up to some of the first people to check into the chat this morning, because when you start a show, it's always great that you see people checking in. You know, makes you feel a lot better when you get something rolling. It makes you feel a lot better. But y'all know how it goes. There can only be one. And today, that one is my main man, Floyd Thompson. He is sitting up good, ready, and right, as what we like to call the Highlander of today's stream. Shout out to Floyd Thompson, the Highlander of today's stream. Now, and I tell y'all, if you come too early, it ain't gonna work. If you come too late, it ain't gonna work. And I know on this time, because I didn't even put it up last night, I didn't realize that till this morning. When I put it up, boom, Floyd right there. See, that's my man. He looking for it, y'all. He looking. You got to be on the lookout, y'all. You got to be on the lookout. But shout out to Floyd Thompson, the Highlander of today's stream. Shout out to my main man, Shep. Mike's Roundtable is in the building. He keeps a lot of things smooth and in order around here. So shout out to him and the pit crew. Great to have you part of the show. Great to have you part of the show. Also, shout out to my main man, Inspired Truth Broadcasters here. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. We got Trail Bentley in the house representing as he always does. Hashtag long live the habitual line steppers. Hashtag Negroes in the wilderness. Hashtag dignity over vagina. Hashtag Al Gore's babies. And my personal favorite, hashtag Hell Hydra. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you. We got Eric M. Grease with Fire in the building. Great to see you, brother. Great to see you. Lee's Way is here. Great to see Lee's Way is in the building. Good to have you, brother. Good to have you. Shout out to Michael Watson. What's going on, my brother? What's going on? Shout out to Dolomite. Good to have you, brother. Good to have you. Shout out to Jay Bones is in the building. And my main man, Art New Style TV. Say he caught a line. Hey, always great to see you, brother. Always great to see you. Keep doing your thing, my brother. Keep doing. Y'all, if you're looking for great content, you can always also check out Art New Style TV. Okay. You're going to get good stuff over there. You're going to get good stuff over there. So shout out to Art New Style TV. Y'all, now, this is the thing. We're going to talk about this as a very serious subject because I believe it is something Black men need to really start dealing with. Okay? Okay, we really need to start dealing with this. We need to recognize what's going on. Black women are not part of the Black community. Now, I've told y'all time and time again. Okay, unfortunately, I've lost channels, but I've said time and time again, there's two subsections of the Black community. When you're an outsider, you only see the Black community as one group. Just the same way I see white people, y'all. When I see white people, I see them as one big group. But realistically, there's a bunch of different groups of white people. You know, you live in America, and shout out to all my people listening around the world. Shout out to all y'all. Love and appreciate y'all too. When I see white people, I don't see German. I don't see Polish. I don't see Scandinavian. You know, I don't see British. I don't see however you want to group them up. They're a bunch of different groups of people. They know who they are. No, now if you go to their home and, see what they're eating and all that type of stuff. You can kind of see who they are more from a cultural standpoint. But, when I look at white people, I don't know what kind of white person you are. I don't know if your people came over here last week or if your people came over here, 300 years ago. I don't know. They're just white people to me. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I'm just saying what it is. They just white people to me. I would have to take interest in you to know which kind of white people you happen to be. I don't know if you're Irish. I just don't know. Okay? I don't know what she is. Now, knowing me, I ain't gonna too much ass because I don't really care, okay? And that's just me being real, okay? I don't hang out with white folks like that where I start getting all up in their business and asking what's this and what's that. If we around each other enough, yeah, something will come out. But I'm not rolling up to random white folks asking them what kind of white person they are. Okay. And I'm not even saying that it's rude or anything like that. It's just I ain't interested. Okay. I'm just not interested. And you know what? When you part of the black community, you should be able to tell what you are. The same way white folks can tell what they are. They know they're different than other white folks. Okay. They look at each other and they know that person is not one of ours. And they operate that way. Okay. Not even saying it's bad. I'm just saying that's what it is. Now, we as black folks, we should be able to operate with us understanding of this. It's not that complicated, y'all. Okay. If you're a black man, if you are respectable, productive, and functional, and you believe in black men's leadership, you are part of one community. That community has some wives. Yeah, they're part of our community because they actually married in. Okay, they have been married into our community, not just a woman because she's black. No. A black woman who's married a man who is productive, functional, respectable, and believe in black men's leadership. Yeah, she part of our community. And then there's the children that live in our homes. They are part of our community. Anybody other than that, they're not part of the black community, man. That's how you got to learn to see it and operate because it is what it is. And you know what? If somebody made a decision to not be part of our community, that's on them at the end of the day. Okay? That's on them at the end of the day. Now, is that saying you can't talk to your relatives? Maybe you got a relative. Maybe your sister done married some white guy. Maybe you got a cousin that married some white guy. Okay? Maybe your mama got married a second time and she married some white guy. Does that mean you can't talk to your people? No, I'm not saying anything like that. What I'm saying is they not us. You can want them to be us, but they not us. And it just is what it is on that note. Okay. They made a decision, for whatever their reasons are, they made a decision to do what they believe was best for them. I can't be mad at you for making a decision that you believe was best for you. That's on you at the end of the day. But I got to deal with the real world as well. And in the real world, she married out. She's not part of our community anymore. I love you. It's not saying you're a terrible person, but you're not part of our community anymore. So when we start thinking about community minded, you got to think about who's really a part of the community. Now, there is this anti-family, single mother, dysfunctional community that is out there that a lot of black people participate in. And y'all, we got to be realistic about it. They don't have to. The one good thing about living in America is that you do actually have a choice. It's that simple at the end of the day. You have a choice. All right? All right? You got a choice. You ain't got to participate with all that. But they can. I'm not saying they can't choose the wrong thing. They definitely can choose the wrong thing, but that's their choice too. But see, black men gonna have to start taking it serious as far as who's with us and who's not with us. And I understand can ruffle some feathers because this could hit home in certain ways to certain people. But we got to be realistic about what's going on. You know, shout out to Passport OG. He had me thinking yesterday. He said something about, us not having women that are, I forgot exactly how he said it, but it was basically not having women who are our legitimate counterparts. Okay, not having women to work with who are our legitimate counterparts. Because when you think about Black women, they should be a legitimate counterpart to us. They should be. Now, should and is two different things. You should be something, but that don't necessarily mean you are that thing. Okay, we should be good students growing up. Everybody was not one. Okay, you should be a pretty decent cook. Everybody is not a decent cook. You should have a good work ethic. Everybody don't necessarily have one. Okay, there's a lot of stuff we should be that we not. All right, it's just simple at the end of the day. There's a lot of woulda, shoulda, couldas out there. So as Black men, if you are a productive, functional, respectable brother, and you believe in Black men's leadership, because that's the key thing, because you can be a respectable, productive, functional brother, but you not believe in Black men's leadership. You could believe that women are supposed to be in charge. And I do believe there's a fair amount of brothers who are respectable, productive, and functional, but they don't believe in Black men's leadership. They were trained to be afraid of women, and they hold on to that training even though they became an adult. At some point, they decided that was just the easiest thing to do. This is what I want to be, because this is the world I want to live in. And I want my woman to be able to push me around. I want my woman to be in charge. I want my woman to go out and mess stuff up and never have to take on the responsibility of the fact that she messed up, because I ain't going to hold her accountable. And I don't want nobody else out there to hold her accountable either. There are some men that's like that. Not smart, but they exist. Okay, they do exist. Now, for some of those guys, they learn from mistakes and they stop being that guy. Okay? For some of those guys, they're going to end up getting divorced because they ain't going to be able to take it no more. They're going to start making changes. Then issues going to happen in their marriage. They're going to end up getting divorced. Okay? But at the end of the day, we have to make a decision as men about who is with us and who is not with us. And y'all, Black women been telling us for a good amount of time, y'all, that they don't rock with us like that. And the thing is, they've been able to do it very comfortably because Black men have not accepted this reality. Because we kept worrying about what it should be instead of what it is. Okay? It's not like they ain't told us. So I can't even say they've been secretive totally about it. They've been a somewhat secretive, but they have had women who put it out there, and we just don't pay attention. Now, of course, there was a famous clip out there while Ice Cube went through all this trouble to put the plan together for Black America. Literally went to somebody else's, you dig, okay? So he went to somebody else's show, okay? Went in there, thought he was hollering at the homegirls. That's what Cube thought. The Ice Cube, much respect to him, much respect to Ice Cube. Went over to what should have been a cool spot. He went over to Queen's Cocktails, talked about that plan for Black America, at least attempted to. And what happened to him? And one of the hosts he actually put on. Okay, let's keep that in mind, yo. One of the hosts, hosted by 4 ladies, one of the hosts he actually put on. Okay, we didn't even know her till Cube put her on. So of course Cube went over there and he thought it was gonna be a friendly situation. He thought stuff was gonna be good, I'm sure. He thought he was gonna be able to talk about this great plan and promote it well on the Queen's Cocktails. Why? Because he gonna go kick it with the homegirl and her buddies. He connected. What happened when Cube got over there? Cube got jumped. That's what happened when Cube got over there. Cube got jumped. Them women was mad. Why was they mad? Because he put a plan together for Black America. And Cube didn't come over there like, I wrote the plan myself. No. Cube went and actually got the experts to put a plan together for Black America. And what did the Black women do? They came out boldly and said, hey, we need something for us. Cube say, this for Black people. Ain't you a part of Black people? He asked a question that you could see by the look on his face that he never thought he would have to ask. Now, I'm not saying this when things started between Black men and Black women, the way they've gone down. Now, it wasn't a start, but it was something that I'm pretty sure a lot of Black men had never heard straight up before. Okay, I'm not gonna say Black women haven't been deceptive in some ways, but they've been kind of telling you in certain ways too. It's up to us to pick up on it, y'all. But that was when it was like, boom, it was right. It was a confrontation. Okay, it was a confrontation at that point. Q said, ain't Black women a part of Black people? Being just as sincere, just as honest, just, keeping it real, looking out for his sister. That's what he called himself doing. I'm looking out for my brothers. I'm looking out for my sisters. Man done spent money, had all these experts, put all the right things together to help Black people out, just to find out that according to Black women, they ain't Black people. Q was sitting there shocked. Let's keep it real, y'all. Q was sitting there shocked that he was told by Black women that Black women are not a part of Black people. And then Q, being a type of man he is, Cube has always been a great man of integrity at the end of the day. So what did this man do? He know he on this public platform. Okay. He trying to do the best he can for Black people, paying for stuff and doing stuff and making moves. Ain't nobody asked him to do, but he knew it was right to do. So he does this. He's confronted with this new dimension, I guess. It's like he came into the studio one way and realized at a moment there's a lot of other things was going on that he wasn't necessarily privy to. Shout out to Afro Merchant. He said he was dumbfounded. That's a good way to put it. That definitely is a good way to put it. He was dumbfounded. Q didn't know what to do. But being a man of integrity, did Cube get upset and start going crazy or something? No. He didn't do that. He said, okay, obviously there's some things going on here that I don't understand. But I'm not going to get mad that I don't understand. No, I'm not going to get mad. Okay. I love my people. I done went through all this trouble for my people. So what should I do now that I am confronted with this stuff that I never thought would have came up? So what did the Cube do? He said, okay, well, let's write something in there for Black women. The Black women say, they literally told them, when you make a plan for Black people, it is not good enough because in your plan for Black people, you don't separate Black men from Black women. That's what they told them. They didn't say it in those words, but that's exactly what they told them. If you make a plan for Black people, for Black women, that don't count. It has to be specific to them. Has to be specific to them. Now think about that, y'all. If you make a plan for Black people, for Black women, it has to be specific. Or they not in that. Now, there's a lot of things that were said there. Some people start picking up on it. Some people still haven't picked up on it. Black women declared publicly, we're not a part of your community. You made a plan for Black people. But even though you're a person who's accomplished many different things, even though you had the money to pull expert opinions, you had the money to have a plan put together that's going to help out, quote unquote, Black people. Okay, even though you got it like that, at the end of the day, Ice Cube, sincerely, you just another nigga. How can you put a plan together that's gonna be okay for us? Cause you a nigga. That's just what it is. You a nigga. A nigga can't put no plan together for us. How could a nigga put a plan together for Black women? Now I understand you a famous nigga, but you a nigga. I understand you an intelligent nigga, but you a nigga. I understand that you a rich nigga, but you a nigga. How could a nigga put a plan together for Black women? Now, I know a lot of y'all didn't necessarily hear that part, but it was right there. All you had to do was listen, because that's what they said. And it wasn't just one Black woman who had that as a response. No, it was 4 of them. An unpracticed response. An unpracticed response. That means this was already in them. Q just said something to bring it out, but it was already in them. They didn't make no change. It wasn't no new thing that happened. Okay, they wasn't transformed because the man presented a plan. Nah, he just said, they just said, you a nigga, and any plan you made ain't gonna be good enough for us. It's that simple at the end of the day. Because you got a nigga plan. Okay? And the last thing Black women need is a plan by a nigga. Now you know this is a real thing because Q say, all right, well, if something should be in there specifically for Black women, if there should be something separate. See, Cube took it on the chest. You know what I'm saying? He took it on the chin, as they say. He took it on the chin, kept on moving. If there needs to be something specifically there for Black women, okay? He said, cool. I'm a man. I'm not a woman. I'm not even tripping that you coming at this like that. I'm not even tripping. He said, let's put a part in there for Black women specifically. You know what they did? They said, F you, Q. We don't need your stinking plan. We don't need those things. Now you can see Q was starting to get a little, I'm gonna say confused. Because he literally said to them, you saying it need this. Well, why won't you help me? Hey, let's put a part in there for Black women. That's what Cube said. He didn't say you chicks is greedy. He didn't say you chicks got an attitude. He didn't say you chicks don't deserve my plan. He didn't do nothing like that. He said, no, okay, I hear you. Since I respect you, even though I didn't even know this was necessary, let's put something in there specific for Black women. And what they say, no, we don't want to help you. We don't even want to help you. Now, how do you help a woman who believes she should be specifically included? Okay, specifically, and you tell that same woman, you know what? Even though I don't get it, I respect your concerns. And out of respect for your concerns, I'm willing to do stuff to make it better. So let me make a part in here for you as black women. And the black women say, nigga, screw you. Now the man that said, look, it's cool. Let's get it done. Why don't y'all help me make it happen? F you, nigga. Okay? F you. Because that's basically what they told Q. They basically say, F you, nigga. Now, black women been telling us this for a long time. And if we going to be real about it, which we going to be real over here at the Roger Report Live, we have not heard them. Okay? As a collective of black men, we have not heard them. Black women been telling black men we don't care nothing about y'all for a long time. We just haven't heard. Some of them have expressed. Now, I get it, y'all. There's a lot of them that have been very deceitful because they don't want you to believe that they're not part of our group because they like to benefit from us. Okay? Black women, they moving away. Yeah, I'm pretty sure all of y'all have seen it. Where they'll talk to you. They'll throw something out there in front of you. They'll tell you what they're struggling with, what they ain't got taken care of properly yet. They'll express to you that they need help with this, that, or that. And what do they want you to do? They want you to offer the help. They don't respect you enough to come to you as a man and just say, hey, look, I know you my man. Okay. And I need some help. Will you help me? Because that's too much like right. What do they like to do instead? They like to throw stuff out there, put it in front of you. And then if you don't offer to help, they like to pretend something wrong with you. Well, she done told you she $200 short on the rent. But she shouldn't have to ask you for $200 because you short on the rent. No. You supposed to figure that out. She's supposed to have a conversation. You hear what she's saying, and you're supposed to offer to help her with her rent. Now, why does she want you to offer the help for her rent? Because real talk, she don't want to owe you nothing. Now, some people could say, well, I mean, if you offer to help her pay her rent, she don't owe you nothing. You're right, which is why she wants to offer. Because she's not in it with you. See, in a relationship, folks start to make moves together. Now, I'm not saying as a man you owe her whatever she showed on the rent is just because y'all in a relationship. But the thing is, y'all are supposed to start making some moves as a couple. She don't want to be a couple if she don't want to owe you, or at least acknowledge that you helped her with the rent. Now, it could be anything else. I'm just using that as an example. It could be anything else. But that's how black women move. They like to move in a way where a black man can never say, she owes me. Because she don't want to owe you anything. Now, y'all, let's think about it. If you with a woman and y'all care about each other, y'all done formed some type of relationship, why she don't want to acknowledge that she owes you anything? Why wouldn't she want to acknowledge that you help her in life? Why wouldn't she want to acknowledge that you're being a good man to her? Why is this such a big deal? Why is that even an issue? Well, see, a lot of black men, we're not taught to pay attention to what the difference is. There are people out there who will use you. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. We all use people. But there's people out there who will misuse you. And that's the major difference, y'all. If you get a job, you want your job to use you. You have certain skills that you can do. You have certain benefits to offer a company. They want to use you, but they're going to pay you for how they're able to use you. That's not a bad thing. Okay, they're going to pay you for using you. Now, let's say you make an agreement, and I'm going to keep it simple. Let's say you work for $25 an hour. Okay, you give them whatever you got to do, $25 an hour. Let's see, 8 hours of work, $200. That's the deal you make. Cool. That's fine. It's not me misusing somebody. You told them what it was. They agreed to it. Everything cool. Now, as long as they paying you that 25 an hour, you do your 8 hours, you go home. Everything's fine. Not a big deal. You know where it turns into an issue? When you done messed around and work 40 hours. That's what people normally do in a week. You work your 40 hours. 200 times 5, that'll give you $1,000. Now they send you a check where they only gave you $800. Now you earned $1,000, according to what the agreement was. You earned $1,000, but for some reason they decided they only gonna pay you $800. See, that's misusing somebody. Now you're going outside the agreement. Okay, now you're going outside of the agreement. That ain't cool. That ain't right. Okay, you supposed to start tripping. I did the work. I did $1,000 worth of work. I need $1,000 worth of money. You don't short my money no $200. What's going on with that? But see, that's the type of relationship black women want to have with black men. I don't want you to ever be able to say as a black man that you helped me and did anything for me, because I don't owe you squat. Now, I don't know how you're supposed to have a good relationship with a woman and y'all don't look out for each other. I don't get that. If you an actual pimp and she's an actual hoe, I mean, if you got her on the stroll, hey, that's one thing. But if y'all gonna be together, y'all supposed to be able to look out for each other in some kind of way. But black women, they act like, no, they want to misuse black men. They want you to put $1,000 worth of work in, but they only want to give you 800, or maybe 600, or maybe 500. And truth be told, I don't want to give you squat. That's just real talk, y'all. They don't want to give you squat. So now, realistically speaking, based on the behaviors that you see black women do on a regular basis, if you are a productive, respectable, functional black man, and you see how a lot of black women operate, you got to ask yourself a serious question. How do you see them as part of your community? How? What is it about them that you see them as part of your community? I understand a respectable woman who's married to a black man. I can see her as part of our community because I have respect for the black man that she's with. So I know she good. All right. She with him. Okay. She cool. That's how I'm going to look at it. Okay. Nothing wrong with that. But I don't know you. I don't see you. Okay. You're not working with a black man. I'm out and about. How do I know a black woman belongs to the black community? Let's be realistic about this, y'all. Most of them ain't married to nobody. Let's just keep that real. No one married them. You start thinking about people and how they vote. Black women don't vote in a way that black men tell them to vote. They vote the way they want to vote. So, we're not politically connected. When it comes to getting ahead in life, black women don't look to work with black men. They look to take from black men. What you don't see on a regular basis is black men and black women working together to advance ourselves as a people. You see black women who will get with a black man who wants to just simply take from the black man. Now, if I love you and you love me, why we can't work together? Why we can't accomplish things together? Now, you hear black women all the time. Black women keep trying to compete with black men. If you listen to the stuff they say, they always in competition with us. Now, who told them to compete with us? Think about this, y'all. Black women keep talking about how much money black men make. Now, why do they talk about how much money black men make? Well, I ain't gonna even say it like that. In certain conversations, they'll say something about how much black men make, but only in comparison to themselves, and they'll say that they make more than us. Why are you pointing that out unless you're trying to compete with us? Y'all think about that. When black women say something about how much black men make, have they ever said it in context of not trying to compete with black men? Now, I'm not saying black men need to start competing with them. I'm not saying that, because that would be stupid. But just think about it, y'all. Have you ever heard black women talking about what black men make without putting it in the context of they're competing with us? Now, you want to use me as a resource, but you want to compete with me at the same time? That don't make sense, y'all. That's like saying we in a race and you want to come to my pit crew so your car can be straight, but I can't use your pit crew. What sense that make, y'all? My pit crew put some stuff together for my car. You want to come through and say, hey, well, I got the same kind of car. Same thing. Same thing. Your tires will fit my tires. Oh, why can't you go to your own pit crew? Well, I like your pit crew better. If my pit crew is servicing my car and your car, eventually they're gonna run out because they were prepared to handle my car, not your car too. But that's the way black women wanted to be. She want to use your pit. She wants your pit crew to take care of her car. Why? Because she wants an advantage. And at the end of the day, once she's used your car enough, or your pit crew enough, where you're now depleted of supplies, she still has her own pit crew to deal with her vehicle so she can go further in the race. That's how a lot of black women operate. If we think about it and be realistic, that is how a lot of black women operate. They want to use your pit crew, and as soon as your pit crew is done, now she can go to her own pit crew. So she can hopefully get to a place that you never made it to. And that's just real talk. So how can a woman who operates that way be part of the black community? When she look at you and say, I don't owe you nothing, I don't respect you, I don't want to be a part of nothing you got going on, and even if you put something together to try to help me, I don't even care about what you did because you a nigga at the end of the day. And you can be accomplished, rich, and famous, and you still just a nigga. Now, ask yourself, is that woman truly a part of your community? Think about it, y'all. Is she really a part of your community? But I'm going to go ahead and turn the mic over. We got a guest up. We have Kryptonian Emperor Dessalines in the building. You have the floor, my brother. You have the floor. Go right ahead.
Good Tuesday, gentlemen. Hope that you're having a wonderful Tuesday amongst your fellow Kryptonians, the Kryptonians who are like-minded, who have plans and are moving forward like you. Uh, all right, so we do not have a community per se because All we got to choose is a bunch of mediocre bums, Lois Lane. We're Kryptonians. What are we doing? You know? Can you imagine how painful it is to not have your own community as a Kryptonian and you're surrounded by a bunch of Lois Lane and it's like you're surrounded by kryptonite and you are also forced to drink red kryptonite, the kryptonite that would disempower Superman completely. It must be tough. So I strongly urge every black man, to just find other black men like you and leave Lois Lane in the dust. You can fly. It's 2025. Lois Lane needs to do better. Lois Lane needs to learn how to fly. And if you cannot find other Kryptonian women, I strongly urge you to get your intergalactical passport and go elsewhere. Go find other Kryptonian women like you, get you the Kryptonian wombs, and have a bunch of Kryptonian babies and take over this. You know what I mean? Ain't no point in wrestling with these bombs, Lois Lane. They are irrelevant at this point. Okay? You're a Kryptonian now. Embrace it. Embrace the full potentiality of Kryptonians and move forward. You got nothing to say to these Lois Lanes. They were never part of your community. You were only forced to be around them. As long as you've been around them, you have been crippled. You have been disempowered. All they've been for you is a hindrance, liabilities, not assets. Thank you.
All right, now I'm gonna say shout out to Mr. Suge to you. He says marriage don't guarantee that they still part of the community. There's a bunch of double crossing, flippity flopping going on. Now, this is the thing, Mr. Suge to you. That's a point, but that's something I'm not gonna be able to know unless somebody tells me that specifically. At the end of the day, if she's married to a respectable, productive, functional black man who believes in black men's leadership, see, I would have a relationship with that guy more than like. Really not gonna have a relationship with that woman. Okay, it'll be a small relationship if anything. So if a man had a wife who was betraying him, I'm not gonna know it unless he make me privy to that situation. So let's think about it. Realistically, as I operate in society, I'll come across a married woman. I'm not gonna know she trash unless her husband tell me she trash. I'm just gonna know she married, so therefore I'm gonna offer her, just more level of respect. Okay, because she belongs to a black man. It just is what it is. So we only gonna know so much. Nothing's gonna be perfect. Nothing's gonna be perfect, y'all. Life is a gamble. You want to get a woman who's gonna make the gamble with you, and hopefully y'all come out all right. Ain't nothing guaranteed at the end of the day. But when it comes down to it, as black men, we got to see what we're dealing with. If a black woman is not married to a black man, what is she communicating to you as a black woman? Now, if she's very young, she's just communicating she's young. But when you're not really young anymore, what are you communicating at that point? And y'all, we got to be serious about this. She got from 18 to 30 to make something happen. That's only 12 years. So if you talking to a woman who's been an adult for 6 years, what is she really saying about herself? What is she communicating to the world? I think a large part of that is she don't mess with black men. Not for anything that's going to be solid. She'll mess with black men to take advantage of. And that's the difference we got to start learning as men. Why is she not married already? Is she looking to take advantage of black men? Are you simply there as a placeholder until she can get a white man?
Not only you're here to be a placeholder, you're here to fight the white man to increase her desirability, only for her to turn around and marry the white man. Some sort of cuckoldry type of things going on.
Yeah, you got to look at what her intentions are. And this is something a lot of black men haven't been really trained in. Look at what the woman's intentions are. Okay, look, you're an adult at 18 years old. All right. 2 years in, you're 20. If you're not married, I'm like, okay, she's 20. I get it. No big deal. She make it 2 more years to 22. I'm like, okay, she's just about the time she should be getting married. Maybe she ain't quite had the wedding date yet, but we should have a plan. There should be something going on at the end of the day. She's 22 years old. Okay. Okay, give her 2 more years. She's 24. If she's 24, I got questions on why she's not married. And maybe we can still resolve this and be okay, but we're gonna have to get some stuff straightened out. Because you really shouldn't make it to your 24th birthday and you ain't got no husband. Y'all got to be realistic about what's going on. What are women supposed to be doing that'll prevent them from having a husband? They can do the same things we can do in this society. Whatever I say the black man should do once he meets his 18th birthday and he's graduated high school. He has one option to go further his education. And I mean through a trade school or to college. He can further his education. Nothing wrong with that. Okay. He can go get with the military. Okay. He can sign up, become part of the military, whichever one he prefers. He could also go get a job. He could start being a producer. Okay. Start making something happen so he can better himself and his family when it happens. Or, and in today's world, it's a little bit easier to do. He can start a business and actually earn money through a business. Okay. All these things will just help him be a better husband. Women have access to all those things. There ain't nothing I could do that she just can't go do. So, and she also can be a wife. At the end of the day, what she got better to do than to go get married to a man who's going to look out for her? What does she have better to do? Literally nothing. Now, can she be in the military and still get a husband? Yes. Can she go get a job and get a husband? Yes. Can she start a business and get a husband? Yes. Can she go to college and get a husband? Yes. But when you hear black women talk, they talk as if they do those things, they can't be with a black man. Now you got to ask yourself a question as a man. How come when she do it, she can't, quote unquote, have a man and keep her situation right? But you see other women doing it. It's white women. They go to college before they get out, they either married or engaged. Why can't they do it? White women go to the military. A lot of them, before they get out, they're married or engaged. Okay. And, military, you don't know how long the career going to be. Could be, quick 4 years, could be 20 years, whatever they're going to do.
Roger. Let me ask you one question.
Go ahead.
Who really wants to marry just a nigga?
Well, the thing is, I'm going to say there are people who actually want to get married to us, but I'm going to say we're going to have to be realistic. A lot of them ain't black. A lot of them ain't black. Black women, they will marry a man in order to take advantage of a man in a lot of situations. I'm going to say this, when they are 30 and above, a lot of that can be taken advantage. Now, I'm not going to say it ain't going to be some women that have learned better. And, luckily for them, they was able to make something happen before it was just too late forever. But real talk, if you're not getting married in your 20s as a woman, I got the question, what was your point? Are you trying to get with a man because you like this man and you want to help this man be a better man? Or are you getting married because you think you're going to be broke without a husband and you're really not trying to do anything with him? You just want to take advantage of the situation he's able to provide you. And that's why I got to look at this and say, Black women are not part of the Black community. I think the main issue is we don't see it that way because we're not looking at what they're doing. What is some 28-year-old doing unmarried, y'all? Do we look at them and say, why is she still unmarried? She's 28. What is she doing that's so important that she's not married? You know? Now, maybe if you thought it was very important that she be creating something that ain't never been created, maybe she figure out how to travel from one dimension to another. Maybe that's the thing. Okay. Now I'm gonna say shout out to Franchise. He say they don't care. The question is, what do you care? Because we can't make them care. Do you care? When you look at a woman and she's 28 years old, do you want to know why she's 28 and unmarried? See, that's the thing. What do we have to say about it? Do you see her as part of the Black community? She's a 28-year-old unmarried woman. Do you see her as part of the Black community? Now, I'm going to say that goes out for Franchise and everybody else, y'all. The thing is, do we see these women as part of us? Now, I've told y'all, as I've gotten older, I start making different decisions. And I use that example about the kids going back to school. I used to, do stuff for the kids going back to school. They raise the money for the book bags and the, school supplies and all that. And I thought that was just something a good man would do. And then I thought about it. And I'm like, why am I giving money to kids going back to school when they daddies could just buy their book bag? Their dad could just buy their pencils. Their dad could just buy their pens. I guess nowadays stuff is probably changing. Maybe their dad need to buy them a tablet. Why aren't their dads buying them tablets? Oh, she not with the dad no more. Whose fault is that? It ain't mine. I ain't had nothing to do with that. She got something to do with that. If you have kids from a man and you don't want to be with that man, why would I step in and play daddy to your kids? I don't need to worry about your kids getting back to school. That's not for me to handle. Now, when I was younger, I was like, okay, this is a quote unquote good thing to do until I realized what it actually meant. I'm helping some woman be in rebellion to the man she had children with. Why would I help her do that? She's not part of our community. If I help a woman, she come home from the grocery store, I help a woman take the groceries in the house. You know what I used to do that for? Married women. You grow up, somebody come home, they got a bunch of groceries. Your dad be like, help Mrs. Johnson get Mrs. Johnson's groceries out her car and take them to her porch. Take them up to her door. Why was I being told to do this though? Well, Miss Johnson's a married woman. That's my dad having respect for other married people. So he telling me to help some married woman. I understand it. Okay. It makes sense. He sees other people as part of his community. But I can say this. I don't remember him ever telling me to help some single woman with kids take her groceries out the car and take them up to her door. I don't ever remember him telling me to do that with a woman who didn't have a husband. Now I would say, yes, there were more married people back then. I can give you that. Because there's been folks who done got divorced and all that type of stuff. There was more married people. Okay. Some people try to put it as a happenstance or whatever the case is, but I'm just gonna tell you, I don't ever remember him telling me to go help someone with her groceries and she ain't had no husband. I don't remember that. Okay. Shout out to Urban Reed. He said to them, that 12 years is their 12 years of slave story, Roger. If y'all ain't get it, you talking about that 12 years from 18 to 30, y'all. That's that 12 years of slave story. Oh. Well, I'm going to say she free, y'all. That's what I'm going to say. Once you're 18 years old, you are free to tell the world who you are as a woman. Okay? You are free to tell the world who you are as a woman. And my thing is, we got to start paying attention to who they telling us they are. Okay? Because when it comes down to it, you know, there's nothing going on that has women in position where they just can't get a husband. Ain't nothing happening. So at the end of the day, black men gonna have to accept she just didn't want to be what it takes to get a husband. Because yes, a woman should be able to do what it takes to get a husband. If we're gonna be real about it. Okay? If we're gonna be real about it, she has to show a man that she is worthy of him taking on all the responsibilities that come with being a husband. You know, she has to be a wife that's worthy of it. He got to make that decision. Because at the end of the day, y'all, see, people can talk a lot of mess. But I've said before, if you walk into a house and the light's not on, they blaming the husband. Point blank, period. Now, if the home is dirty, they probably gonna blame the woman. That's just a real thing. So it is up to a woman to prove that she's worthy of being a wife to that husband. That is her job. Because, you know, he takes that role on, and it's a role he's supposed to take on for life. Now, I understand a lot of black women ain't that good at that. But, you know, if you don't require them to be, they'll never have to improve. Now, I'm going to say shout out to daughter of the King of Kings. She says divest black women. Well, let's be realistic. Daughter of the King of Kings, because we don't like false narratives. Black women been trying to divest. The issue with y'all divesting is y'all are not good at it. You see, you're a black woman right now who couldn't do it. Therefore, you come over to this program to say something to so you can feel better about yourself. Black women divesting is a black woman who married a white man. It's about 0.5% of black women who've been able to marry a white man. Y'all keep talking about divesting, but you don't actually do it. Y'all, that's the thing. And no, hey, guys, don't talk to her, y'all. Don't talk to women who come in for attention like that. Don't do that. I'm just making her a point, and then I'm gonna push on. Y'all leave her alone. Don't pay no attention to her, y'all. When women like that come up here to get attention, don't give it to them, y'all. Talk to women that's been hanging around the channel that we good with, we rock with at the end of the day. Don't let these women come over here and just start getting a bunch of attention. At the end of the day, you can divest. Nobody cares. The issue with you, and you're doing it right now, is that you want to divest and you mad at us because you can't get the job done. Why are you mad at us? Because you can't divest. That's not our problem. That's your problem. And no, I'm not telling you to leave. I'm not telling you, you ain't got to feel salty. I ain't telling you to leave. You could be right here. But we're not going to pretend you not being able to divest has something to do with us. You want to marry a white man, you couldn't do it. Therefore, you're over here. And that's okay.
Roger.
Okay? Go ahead.
No thing can fly. Blame Superman.
Yeah. Now, we got T'Challa has joined us. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and give him the mic. Now, let me say this real quick before he go. He said, "Now, y'all, she did say, and this is what I expect. She says, I'm married to a white man, as are millions of black women." Okay, that's all I'm gonna say, y'all. Okay, see, that's a statement. She got the laughing emoji because she tried to quote unquote make people upset. when you know the numbers, you don't even have to pay attention to nonsense like this, y'all. This is I'm only saying this because I want y'all to understand how to operate with a lot of black women. She say she married to a white man, as are millions of black women. Now we know that ain't true, so why would we care? Guess what? If you think that's a victory, knock yourself out. We don't care. We don't care. Okay? And guess what? You're just another person who are not part of our community. Boom. You say you married. Now I know it probably ain't true, but since you just told us you married to a white man, that means you definitely not part of our community. That's all you proved at this point. You are guaranteed not a part of our community. Even though we know you lying, but since you said that, we can take you at your word, even if it's a lie. And this is something black men need to do, y'all. Y'all need to learn how to specifically take women at their word when it's right for you, even when they lying. You know she lying, but since she said it, use it against her. That's simple. But T'Challa, you got the mic, my brother.
Yes, shout out to you, Roger. Wakanda forever. Hey, so yeah, yeah. So as it relates to this topic, so as you know, every now and then I do go outside of the Roger Report and I kind of talk to people. And one of the things I do when somebody talks about community, I actually give them a definition, a working definition. It's basically a group of people living in the same place, all right, and they have shared interests, ideologies, goals, and aspirations, right? That's a working definition. There's a more formal definition, you can look it up, but that's the working definition. So if you're part of the community, that means you have to be living in the same place as the men and the children and the women that are part of that community. So if you're outside of that, then you can't be in the community. How you gonna be be mad about getting in the club and you ain't even in it. See what I'm saying? So I mean that's what really needs to be defined. And I will tell you, if we can get to the point where that is, I mean, that's the actual definition, by the way. I mean, there's a formal definition according to Webster, Oxford, and all these other dictionaries, but that's the working definition. And the reason I always say working definition, because when somebody says, what does it mean? You gotta be able to pull it up right in your head from the beginning and just spit it out to them. And that's what it literally is. It's a group of people all in the same place, living or residing in the same place or the same location, that have a shared ideology, interests, goals, and aspirations. That's what a community is. So in order to be a part of that, that's every black man, woman, and child, and you all got to be together, and you all got to be going in the same direction. That's what it is. So when you say they're not part of the community, if you're not married, then you can't be part of that. Now you can be. I don't even give any exceptions or any latitude or anything else like that, because once you do that, then you'll have people who will try to go, I'm somehow attached or I'm adjacent. No, you're going to have to be a married woman, married to a black man. All right. And by the way, you can be non-black. See, that's the other part of it too. But you got to be married to a black man, and you have to believe in black progress, black empowerment, black, all black everything, and specifically black male leadership. You got to end with that, because that needs to be the last thing that people hear. All right. So they go, oh, black men have to actually be leading it. Yeah, because men lead the communities. Everybody does it. The white men do it. The Asian men do it. The Hispanic, even though there's white Hispanic, let's just say they're an ethnic group. So when they're together, that's what they do. Men in other countries, there's no women anywhere leading anything anywhere as a community or a group. Now, they're not doing it in large numbers. And even if you can find an exception somewhere on the planet, somewhere they still have to interact with men in order to produce children, in order to get to that exclusive matriarchal community. My point in all of that, in saying all of that, is this: is that men lead. You got to be a part of the community. You got to be attached to the men, and the women and the men, the women and the children have to all be going in the same direction. That's how it's got to go. If we're not doing that, then you ain't in the club. I'll go ahead and land right there.
Okay. Now, y'all keep in mind, every black woman can be part of the black community. All she got to do is live in her daddy's home, and her daddy's a respectable, productive, functional black man who believes in black men's leadership. That's all she got to do. Now, people going to say, well, what about when she get older? What about it? She can still live in her daddy's home. What daddy going to put his door down? So what about when she get older? She lived there until she gets married. Now, if she gets married to a man who's a productive, functional, respectable, and believe in black man's leadership, she good to go. There's no questions to be asked. She great, you know. And people gonna say, well, what if she's 25? You know, she don't want to live with her parents forever. Nobody said she had to. But once you leave your father's home, if you ain't married to a man, it's over. That's a personal choice. Okay. She can get her a husband before she leaves her father's home. And I understand some of y'all gonna say, well, what about the women who was raised with their mama? What about them? They don't fit the definition. Life ain't fair. Everybody don't get everything. I wasn't born rich. So you telling me about some woman who wasn't born and she growing up and she lived with her single mother? Hey, I wasn't born rich. I didn't get that. She was born being raised without being in her father's home. She didn't get that. Well, you know what? She better learn how to get over to us. So what that mean? All she got to do is figure out how to get a respectable, productive, functional black man who believes in black men's leadership to have enough respect and love for her that he'll marry her. That's all she got to do, and she can be over here with us. Now, if she's unwilling to do that, why should we have concern?
Yeah. So that's why that definition is important, Roger. Because now I'm being a little bit facetious, right, when I say club. But the thing about a club is that people are always trying to get in, right? Because they want to enjoy the benefits, whatever's inside that club, whatever it is. They want to partake in the fun, the spirits, and the music and the enjoyment that's supposed to come from that. Well, I mean, there's benefits to being in the club of the community, the black community. There's benefits to that. One of the things that I see, especially now, nobody really does this thing where they try to help men who are single, unmarried, no kids, because they're kind of expected to do stuff on their own, right? But you still have to be productive, hardworking, responsible, law-abiding. Because if you ain't and you're a black man, then you're gonna get caught up out here, right? But it's smart for women to actually expand their pool of men. And when I say pool of men, what I'm talking about is as in terms of community. You have your principal, which would be your husband, right? If it's not your father. Once you become of age, your father still kind of has some give you guidance and direction. But once you get to the point where you actually have a husband, now you're part of his leadership, right? And now, but you also inherit his immediate family and extended family. Don't you think if you're the daughter-in-law and you're on his side of the family, and there's men that need to help you do something, don't you think he could call up the group of men and on his side of the family, say, hey, look, my wife needs help, doing something, or I got to be out of town for a week, but this needs to happen and I'm not going to be here to do it. Can you come over to the house, fix this, because this absolutely needs to happen while I'm gone. I got to get to this job and make this money, but I can't be here to get it done for this week. Can a couple of you guys come and step in and make sure my wife's taking care of, the family taken care of, the kids are taken care of, handle business for me, and then just look out for the family. Like that's a woman expanding her pool of and I don't want to say usable men, because you don't want to use men, but in support of family and community. See, men don't mind that.
Well,
We don't. You see what I'm saying? We don't necessarily mind that.
Usable is fine. It's when people misuse that things
Yeah.
turn into wrong. We all should be used. It's misusing men that's a problem.
Yeah, exactly. So we don't have an issue with that. Well, like that's my what do you call it? I don't know what you call it, because I can't remember the actual relation. But that woman is married to my uncle on so and so side. She's distant family, but she's still family because she's married in. We got to look out for her and the kids associated with that with my uncle. See that? So you're expanding your male network, but you're doing it by way of family and community. That's what it looks like. And for some reason, women are trying. I don't know. Look, I don't even know how much better we can explain this, because you have women who are completely missing the mark on that, and they're ignoring the fact that all the stuff that they're asking for, the protection, the blanket protection, by the way, that a community gives, assistance and help, as far as education, helping out, after school events, sports and stuff like that, linking up. Like, that's how it works. You're all in the Facebook group. I mean, whatever, but it's all tied to community, and you feel more of an obligation to help family than some woman with a kid that you don't know, or not even a woman with a kid that you don't know, or just a woman that you don't know. Like, who is you? Who that? Who Harpo? Who this? I don't know this woman. Who this here calling me, talking about she needs help moving furniture?
Yeah, well, the thing is, as men, we gotta not mind the fact that she needs help moving furniture. That's a personal problem, okay? Because this is the thing, y'all. We gotta accept real life for what it is. If a random woman needs help moving furniture, since that example's brought up, she can pay. I don't know you. You're not my brother's wife. You're not my cousin's wife. Okay. You're not my friend's wife. You need help moving some furniture? Yeah, I take care of that for you. How much you got? It's that simple at the end of the day, y'all. They can have jobs too. See, they talk about equality, but don't want to deal with the responsibilities of equality. If you ain't got no help, all you got to do is pay for it. Don't look at no woman like she's weak or she can't get the job. All she got to do is pay somebody and they'll do it. I don't care what's going on with her. She can pay somebody and they'll do it. We don't have companies out here talking about, I'm not going to service women. Heck, a lot of companies do a whole lot to attract women to their businesses. So at the end of the day, little money get the problem. You want your furniture moved? I get your furniture moved. Yeah, ain't no thing. Show me the furniture. Tell me what you want. Do you want to be moved in your apartment? Do you want me to have it moved from this place to the other place? I take care of the rest. Just how much money you got. That's the issue. I get it squared away. You ain't got to worry about that at all. I get it squared away. You know what I'm saying? Just come on with that money.
So Ron, let's apply this to real world events, right? Real world events. So from January up until about now, right? In the first 4 to 6 months of the year, Black women lost over 300,000 Black women lost jobs. It's actually more, but we know it's at least 300,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you have that, so first of all, if you're married and linked into a husband, you already have a safety valve in place immediately just by virtue of being married and part of an actual community, right? Now, that man that you're attached to, other people are going to be concerned about the fact that you lost your job. Even if you're affected, you happen to be married, you have a husband, other people are going to be concerned.
Hold on one second for me, kid. One sec. Hey, y'all, real talk, y'all. I see that Daughters of the King of Kings is throwing a tantrum in the chat. Y'all, stop talking to her. I don't want women who ain't really for us to be over here and talking to people in the chat. If they gonna come here, they just gonna sit here and listen till they get approved. She is not approved. Do not talk to her. I see what she's saying. There's no reason to even care about what she's saying. Okay, don't pay no attention to it. Leave her alone. Okay. And I'm not saying this because of what she's saying. I'm saying when y'all see women come over here and we don't know these women, ignore them. I do not want them using my channel as a place for them to get attention because they're not doing the right things in their life. They can come over here, they can listen, they can learn. Once they get approved, then we'll talk to them. People like Trust, she's approved. She's a darling of the channel. We can talk to her. People like this Daughter of the King of Kings, we don't need to talk to women like that. She's some woman who claims she has a white husband. She don't need my channel to gain attention. It's that simple at the end of the day, y'all. And all that stuff about I'm gonna report this, that's just somebody trying to get attention. She's trying to get a response. She's not important. Let her be.
Why her white husband let her come over here?
No. Everybody's welcomed over here, but some people need to listen a lot more than others. So everybody's welcome.
She's in the white man's community side, which is nothing wrong with that. That's what she's married to, allegedly.
But my thing is, we ain't giving them attention like that. I done addressed it, and I call myself addressing it for everybody. She don't need no attention. At the end of the day, I know why she's here. You know what I'm saying? She says she got a white husband. Okay, cool. I know why she here. She ain't got none. She looking for a black husband. She just don't want to come out and admit it, which is fine. but she need to learn to straighten herself up, and she don't need to get attention. At the end of the day, y'all, there's gonna be plenty of women who gonna come over like her from time to time who truly want a black husband, but they too arrogant to get one, and it just is what it is. Don't give them attention. But go ahead with the point that you was making.
Yeah, so I was going to say, so we got the 300,000 plus black women who've lost their jobs, and you know, I'm sure there's a few married women that got caught up in that, but you already have a fail safe right from the rip, because presumably your husband's probably already working and paying, if not most, a good portion of the bills, but I would say probably most, because that's what a lot of husbands do. And the wife's money is just additional money for like miscellaneous stuff and, like, you know, little small bills here and there, and then, you know, throw it into savings for future, whatever it is that the family planning for. All of that being said, if you have a community, now you got an entire network of people who actually care about you and probably get you employment pretty quickly, right? Versus, okay, you're 6, 8, 10, you know, 14, 24 months down the road, and you still are unemployed, or you're working a job because that you don't like, because that's what you absolutely had to do just to get the bills paid. And you're angry about that, and you're overworked, or you're working multiple jobs. You're working at least 2 to compensate for the fact you had a you know, employment or even a career that allowed you to work, you know, relatively normal hours. Like, again, all the stuff that they're asking for, and well, I'll just say, and in some cases making demands, you can get that through community, but you got to be a part of it. But you got to be a part of it in a way that the men actually approve of it. And if you're on the outside looking in, talking about gimme, 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 I'm telling you, the dudes are looking at you like you're crazy. And I'll say this one last thing. So, like I said, when I have this conversation with other people, when I define what a community is, I give them the working definition, and then I talk about black male led, you know, black empowerment, black progress, economics, you know, infrastructure, you know, residential areas, banking, schools, and all this other stuff, to include all of that, you know, being directed and influenced and operated by black men, you know, supported by the women, and then, you know, the children being under that influence and guidance. Usually the men will agree. Now the women, they'll start asking questions, and some of them will even give pushback. They'll even outright say the community is just whatever the women say. And look, that's not what it is. If it's just a bunch of women and kids, then you have a loose confederacy of people that don't belong to anybody, and nobody's accounted to or accountable to or even looking out for. So that's where you guys are running into problems if you're having issues. I'll go ahead and land right there.
All right, now I'm gonna say to the guys, y'all, look, y'all, I don't want y'all running women off. It's good for women, especially like that, to be over here and listen. That's why I'm telling y'all, stop talking to these women. My show is to actually help people, y'all. Stop giving them attention. If they're not approved, don't talk to them. Just in general, y'all. Let them come over here and actually sit and listen. All they're trying to do is get attention and take away from what's going on. They do need to hear this stuff. It's hard for women to listen to what's going on the panel and also talk to people in the chat, especially women who are not approved at the end of the day, y'all. See, as black men, we gotta be real about ourselves, y'all. Are they part of the community? If she ain't married, why would you think she is? Stop giving her attention like she cool with us. You know, she don't, you know, there's certain women who come here, we know they're cool with us. We say hi. We have a little chat. Everything is good. Black men got to learn how to stop looking out for women who don't want to be a part of what we got going on. That woman did enough to say she does not want to be a part of what we got. Now, I understand her actions say something different because she over here, but she did claim she have a white husband. At the end of the day, that's her saying, I don't want to be a part of y'all. Y'all just niggas to me. I came over here to bother y'all. Man, you got to just let women like that just sit there and twiddle their thumbs. She can listen all day long, but she don't need to be a part of the conversation. And I'm saying this in general, y'all. So when it happens the next time, just ignore these women, y'all. Real talk, ignore them. Unless we know they good, ignore them. If they're not the ones who come here all the time on a regular basis that y'all have seen me talk to, leave them alone. Let them type whatever they want to type. She talking about she gonna report somebody. Hey, That's her business at the end of the day. Leave her alone. Okay. Shout out to Trail Bentley. He say shout out to Toya, Sari, and Maggie. And there's a few others. But let those women get your attention if you're gonna give some out. These new ones, once they get approved, then we'll talk to them. But till then, man, just let them be mad. If that's what you want to do, be mad. I'm gonna report everybody. Knock yourself out. No one cares. Okay. She probably done told her white husband on us already, y'all. But let me get a flow to a pimp named Trump. You have the flow, my brother. A pimp named Trump. What's going on?
Hope you're doing well. Shout out to T'Challa. Since you're talking from heaven, what's the whole situation looking like up there? Shout out to the niggas in the suburbs, from Bentley crew. Shout out to the Habitual steppers, and special shout outs to the brothers in the wilderness. Roger, I mean, it's interesting. You have Salah Nathan here with her skink tail up here, but even as skinky as she is, man, they have 50% of our DNA, or 50% of the DNA. Bloodline matters. Bloodline matters, and we because they are essential to maintaining our bloodline. They're part of our community, and it's when you talk to other people, it's very important that we manage and maintain our bloodline. And I get the fact that whoever we marry becomes black. I can appreciate the sentiment, but again, bloodline matters. It's a part of identity, culture, and also a part of keeping your power. And that's something we can talk about. But because black women carry the ADOS bloodline or the FBA bloodline, they are a part of the community. There's no way you can get around that.
And I'm going to just respond to that with, I'm already around it. No, they are not. If they want to keep that bloodline going, they better act right.
So Trump, did you hear the working definition I gave for community, sir?
Please repeat it.
It's a group of people residing in the same or similar location, same location, that have shared interests, goals, aspirations, and they're all going in the same direction. That's my loose working definition. But if you look it up, that's what it's going to be.
Well, if you're not going to include genetics in that, I can't agree with that, sir.
If you're not going to include who?
Genetics. I can't agree with that.
Okay, yeah. But so presumably those women. Now here's the deal, because I do actually agree with what it is you're talking about. Understand that because this is the data, and this is probably going to continue to happen unless there's some drastic change here. But when the majority of we're talking about marriage here, right? That's what the community is part of it, right? When the majority of black men get married, when black men get married, they're going to overwhelmingly marry black women. If you got 5 black men that are married standing in front of you, only one of them is going to be married to a non-black woman. Now, I'm not going to sit there and praise that and say that's a great thing, because I agree with you on the bloodline thing, right? And the lineage, the culture, and the heritage, because it's actually easier if it's 5 out of 5. So that would be easier and best for us. But what I'm saying is that woman, regardless, is still volunteering to be a part of that community because she's linked to that man.
No. But more than anything, because when you look, okay, let's look at it from an anthropological point of view, right? The first bottom line requirement of being a community nationality, a part of that cohort. Let's use the word cohort because I think that's more apropos. When we're looking at what you need to be part of the cohort, the first thing is genetics.
Okay. First of all, good use of the word apropos in colloquial language. I like that. You were able to get that in there. But I'm saying I agree with you. Here's the thing, though. Considering there's only 36% of black men in the United States that are married, black American men that are married, right? And that includes, by the way, so we know that 10% of the black population in America is either African or Caribbean descent. So that actually kind of diminishes, the FBA slash Freedman bloodline a little bit more. Not much, but at least by 10%. All of that being said, I'm going to say the fact that only 36% of these black men are married in the United States, we're at I would say we're at a point of crisis, right? Because we're below 50. So, anything below 70% is actually failing, right? And if we get that a grade, we'll be failing miserably, because 36 out of 100, that's like you basically you showed up, put your name on the test, answered a couple of questions, got a few questions right, and then left everything else blank, if you even got anything right. My point being is that I'm not saying or encouraging that we need to go outside, but what I'm telling you is that when you get to a point of crisis, I'm not saying beggars can't be choosers, but if you got volunteers willing to come in and be a part of what you got going on, and they're submitting themselves to your program, then that's better than not having anything.
Let me make
and then you get to the point where you can actually remove yourself away from that crisis, and actually now you can start talking about from an anthropological perspective. Does that make sense, sir?
No, it doesn't, because let me make my position clear.
I said crisis, right? Go ahead.
Yeah, we're in a crisis, and you can do what you want. I'm not saying that you must marry a black woman. I'm not saying that at all. You can do what you want to do. But to say that they're not a part of the community simply because they don't want to marry a black man, that is incorrect.
Well beyond that is being said. It ain't just they don't want to marry, but that's not what's being said.
But what I'm saying to you is this: as long as they carry the genetics of ADO, like if we're all ADOS here, right? We're all ADOS, and we're all FBA, or we're all descendants of descendants of slaves.
Freedmen, got it. Yeah.
So is she. So as long as that blood runs through her veins, we are in the same cohort.
But Trump, I'm not really trying to over argue with you on this. Look, shared goals, interests, ideology, aspirations, moving forward as a collective. If she's not a part of that, then how is despite having the Freedman bloodline, how is that helping us?
Look.
Well, I'm not saying she's definitely not helping us. Don't get me wrong. She's definitely not.
Okay, so at the end of the day, it's gonna take more than blood. But I gotta let Truth Teller get in, because he done came up, and then I'm gonna really get into this.
He only came up here to start shit. It's been an hour and a half, and he ain't come up here. Not because I said what I said. No, well, I got to I can't believe right here. Watch.
Shots fired immediately.
You know me so well.
You have to use the words like anthropological. You gotta stop using all these multi-syllabic words. Come on, stop it. We know you smart, man.
That's the word that triggered me. I was like, oh, no, I gotta jump on. I gotta jump on. All right, let's put something in the front. I don't know what he's talking about, bloodline, because there's no such thing as a pure bloodline anywhere on this planet, first and foremost. So we can say what we want, even where he's currently residing. There's no pure bloodlines. They were literally separate city-states and separate cultures that about 500 years ago decided to conglomerate into one.
90% of these motherfuckers are Han. So you're
okay. Wrong. Well, yeah, they got like 15 different languages they still speak in different places. So I'm just saying. All right, so we can say this bloodline crap. All I know is if you're not a contributor to the community, you can't be a member of the community. That's what the bottom line is. And that's how it's always have gone. You can't contribute and you're only a weight to the community. You can't be part of that community. You're a detriment to it. And not only that, what's worse is when people are pointing out to you, you're hurting the community, you get shoulder shrugs and rolly eyes. And somebody telling you ain't nothing. So I don't know why you want to hold on to these people. Good luck. You could keep the bloodline going as long as black men can have kids. That's all that needs to be worried about. As long as black men can have kids, ADOS, and their kids can have kids, the bloodline is perfectly fine.
All right. Now I'm gonna jump in and say this, y'all. Okay. Let me use this as an example, y'all. There's two big burger franchises, y'all. Just using them as examples. They ain't got nothing to do with any of this. Okay, you got a place called McDonald's. You got a place called Burger King. Okay, you ain't for McDonald's if Burger King paying you. Okay, now if Burger King pay you, you ain't gonna come over to McDonald's and promote Whoppers and whatnot. That's not how we getting down. Okay, you can't come over to the McDonald's in your Burger King uniform, sit there and promote Whoppers all day long. Everybody should go get a Whopper. That
You're
Big
gonna
Mac is
lose if you
cool,
do
but
that.
yeah. That Big Mac ain't hitting no nothing. Y'all should go get your Whopper. You ain't finna sit in my McDonald's for 8 hours promoting Burger King. It just don't work that way, man. You're not a part of us. At the end of the day, you got to go. And guess what? We will lock you out. Okay? Yeah, we'll lock you out. We just won't let you back in here no more. And that's just real talk. You can't be a part of something that you are really bucking against and you're trying to destroy. And at the end of the day, women are free agents. They can elect to be a part of any community they want to. They have personal freedom. Okay. And if you take your personal freedom to go be a part of somebody else's community, that is your business at the end of the day. We can't tell black women they can't go marry anybody else. They're not pets, they're women. And we need to treat them like they're women and not pets. They don't owe us nothing. We don't owe them nothing. So everything is voluntary. If you ain't gonna volunteer, I ain't looking at you. Now we got a beautiful woman on the screen right now. Okay. Sanaa Lathan. Beautiful woman. Okay. Good actress. Ain't married a black man yet. Okay. Y'all can make excuses for her and say, well, she probably want a rich black man because she rich. She done been around rich black men. She in the movie industry. She wants a man that's quote unquote high value. She been around high value men. She's in the movie industry. She wants men that is respectable, doing something big. She's in the movie industry, man. Whatever y'all swear she won't. She done had access to it. She been in the movie industry for a good long time at this point. At the end of the day, she has never comported herself in a way that a black man was willing to marry her. It ain't because of money. It ain't because of struggle. It ain't because she ain't got a name. She got everything she need, but a black man ain't did it. You can give whatever they want. She gonna operate how she wants to at the end of the day.
I've always liked Sanaa Lathan. I mean, especially back in the day, because she has that girl next door look, even though she's a Hollywood actress. Her, Nia Long, who's another one? Regina King. Like those are the women, yeah, and Angela Bassett, right? I always go to Angela Bassett. She's my go-to. But my thing is that yeah, we have the ethereal beauties, right, that are black. Like the beauty queens and stuff like that. Those are kind of out of reach for a lot of men. But Sanaa Lathan, if she wasn't famous, she'd fit in with mostly everybody else, right? I mean, she's pretty, but and I'm not downgrading her or saying that she's obviously not beautiful. She is, but I always thought like she was going to be linked up with some good dude eventually at some point, because I mean at the height of what she was doing a little while ago, I mean almost any dude would have took her. Almost any dude would have been like, oh, yeah, look, you're a good pick. Just get on our page and let's work together and build something beautiful, family and all this other stuff. Like she would have been a great addition. Just off looks alone. And then, just off, I don't know her demeanor or disposition because no one knows her personally, but just off of that, I mean, yeah, a lot of dudes were trying to get us annihilation. A lot of dudes.
Well, from a physical standpoint, she had everything she needed to get a black man or any man for that particular point. Now, I don't know the lady. I just know ain't no man married her. And I'm not a stupid guy. There's reason they don't want to. We'll make excuses for women talking about a man ain't did this and a man ain't did that. She in the movie industry. She done been around all the rich and famous guys that she need to be around. For somebody to say, you know what? She's just a lovely person. I should marry her. And ain't nobody done it.
Roger, can you hear me?
Yeah. Go ahead.
The reason why she was burning. That's probably why nobody married her. But anyway,
man, we don't know nothing like that. I ain't never heard that.
allegedly burning.
I mean, that's something you can clear up, though.
Hold on.
You know, I forgot which STD burning is associated with, but I know that you can clear that up. At the end of the day, I don't. She's still a beautiful woman at the end of the day. But this is what I'm saying, y'all, because I it's not about getting on her case. It's just the fact that women be in perfect position to get done what they need to do, and they just don't do it. And we keep trying to figure out how some man stopped them. She got everything she needed to be somebody's wife. She didn't have to quote unquote quit making movies because she's somebody's wife. There's plenty of people who are married and they keep making movies. It's that simple at the end of the day.
Get married because allegedly she was burning. But I wanna get back to T'Challa really quickly about something. From a sociological perspective, belonging to a community is based on identity and shared heritage, not on conformity of behavior, views of marital choices. Black women are part of the Black community by ancestry and social identity, regardless of whether they share particular opinions, cooperative in certain group projects, or choose marriage. And here's the evidence. According to the American Sociological Association, community membership does not equal behavioral conformity. A community is a group of people who share common identity, geography, and cultural heritage. Members may hold diverse beliefs and behaviors while still belonging in the same community. That's why you have the advent of subgroups. This definition shows that community membership is grounded in shared identity and heritage, and that's what I'm talking about. You cannot discount people just beyond conformity. Now, all the stuff we want to talk about, she's destructive and things like that. I'm 100% agreeing with you, but you cannot, just because of lack of conformity doesn't now automatically exclude that. Okay, she's outside of our social identity and cultural heritage.
Well, I'm gonna say this, and we're gonna bring the champion. You know what I'm saying? Because he just came up. But I'm gonna say I didn't hear nothing that says we gotta accept her. I heard all that, and I say, guess what? That ain't good enough.
But I mean, but see, the thing about it is words mean something, and we can't keep changing the definition of words, because if you do that, communication breaks down. Correct?
No. I'm with you 100%. I'm with you 100%.
Okay,
I'm a person who's been a stickler about you got to use words on how they really mean. But at the end of the day,
that's what it means.
At the end of the day, we didn't who came up with that. Where did that come from?
I just told you the American. I just told you the American Sociological Association.
Right. That's not our association.
Stop. This is not our language, but we still speak English. Stop. Please.
Okay, so I know we got to get other folks in there. Just real quick while we're on this point. So Mr. Trump. So here's the thing. Even if they were associated by that definition that you're talking about, consistent with that study, how is that helpful if you have women or even men that are divergent from the actual collective as far as empowerment and progress? They cannot be divergent. How does that help the community?
So, but now we're conflating, because what I'm saying is this, that we cannot say that they're no longer a part of the community just because they won't conform to the behavior that we want.
No.
Because their behavior, I agree with you, is not advantageous to what we need to do. So we need to think about ways how to fix that. But we do, for the continuity of the race and culture, we do need them.
Now I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna bring these other guys in because I got two people up there. At the end of the day, y'all, it's our community. We will determine what is our community, not somebody else. The people who you just read off something. I'm not saying it ain't legit. Them not our people at the end of the day. They ain't been for our people. They have nothing to do with us when it comes down to it. There is a difference of allowing other people who have no concern for you to define rules for you. That's always been a mistake.
Even people like who's the guy named Michael Omni, who's a black man, and Howard Witt, who also is FBA, say the same thing. racial identity and ancestry as a basis for belonging. Now these are black people. Also say the same thing. Racial categories are constructed through social processes, but once formed through structure of individual and collective identity. Membership in racial groups is assigned through ancestry, appearance, and shared social meaning rather than personal ideology or
Right.
behavior.
And
Now these are black.
we definitely ain't got shared. What did you just say? Shared social what?
We do have ancestry, appearance, and shared social meaning rather than personal ideology and
We don't
behavior.
have that.
Yes, we do.
No, it ain't. Black women ain't even a part of black people. They told us flat out. We caught some of them telling us directly.
Just because they say it don't mean they're correct.
No,
They're not
bro,
correct.
they have been operating this way for a long time. But let me get these other guys in before we go down that road. The champ, you got the mic, and we gonna get Kevin 3905 in right after. Matter of fact, yeah, go ahead, champ, and right after you, I'm a jump in, then we gonna get Kevin 3905 in.
What's going on? Happy Tuesday, brothers.
Happy Tuesday, brother.
All right, hope you all having a really good day. I have a picture of the late Jack Johnson, the great heavyweight champion in the world, who basically was a black man who ruled the boxing world back at a time where white men ruled and everything, and he rose up and took over despite tremendous obstacles from both black community, unfortunately, and the white folks and everything, because got married to a white woman. But let me just say this: I get what the brother is saying about lineage and everything, that they are part of the community. The thing is, in my opinion, is just is that black women, not all, but virtually, most of them don't want to be a part of black males' leadership. Okay, which is why, what, in defense of what Roger's saying, if you're not willing to, be a part of black males and leadership and everything else, and you're not a part of the community. They practice that in every community, whether it's the Asian community, the Italian community, the Muslim community, and various religious communities and everything else. Hey, some of them, if some of their women are marrying outside of their own community, they push them out. If they're going to start their own cliques, they push them out and everything else. So I get what everybody's saying and everything, about foundational Black American, I get all of that. But again, if some of these black women, with the sisterhood, if they're starting with this old sisterhood thing and that black man ain't ish, black man ain't that, guess what? Forget them. They're not part of the community and everything else. They just let them sink or swim and everything else. And, the funny thing is that, as what T'Challa just said, earlier in the space, over 300,000, black women have lost jobs and everything else. And what's getting ready to happen is that many of them are going to be out in the streets because they got rent to pay. The cars are going to get repoed because they can't make a car payment and everything else. Some of those cars, they have to spend thousands of dollars and everything because they had to get a lemon car and not a nice, like a 2022 Kia and everything else. So if they're not willing to listen to us black men, if they're not willing to want to even marry us and everything else, then fine. Okay. Go ahead and try to find yourself a white man. You're part of their community, but you're going to have to be submissive to them and everything else. And I don't want to hear about them using the N-word a lot and everything else. You chose that and everything else. So I'm going to land my plane right here.
All right, y'all. Now I'm gonna excuse me. I want to give a shout out to SOS the interpreter. As we was closing out the show yesterday, he came through with the Cash App. Just said good show, and I thought it was a good show as well. Okay, but I think all my shows are good shows because that's the only type of show I want to put out. Good or great. That's it. Nothing below standard. Real talk. And shout out also to my main man, Terenzo Jones, who also came through yesterday as we was closing the show out. And he said, salute from the wordsmith. Hey, salute, my brother, salute. Real talk. Okay. Now, shout out to Passport OG, who came through this morning with the $5 cash app. Says, keep up the good work. Thank you very much, my brother. Thank you very much. And of course, this show was inspired by what you said yesterday. So shout out to you. Shout out to you. And shout out to SOS, the interpreter, who actually sent another cash app today for $5. He says, Black women are Eve, ill. Now, this is the thing, y'all. I am coming at this from a status standpoint. It's not bad attitude. I get all that. It's not you don't like how they operate. I get all that. What I say, you are part of the Black community if you live in the home when you're a little girl, you born your baby, your little girl. As long as you in your father's home and your father is a Black man who is productive, respectable, functional, and believe in Black men leadership, you good to go. Okay? You can stay in his home until you get married if you want to. Because what Black man finna throw out his door? Let's be realistic about this. You got to be doing some crazy stuff to get a Black father to throw you out. Now you can go into your husband home once you get married. And that's absolutely fine. See, it ain't attitude. It's status. That's what I want y'all to peep game on. I ain't talking about no attitude stuff. Yeah, I get it. All that makes a difference. We talking about status. You either are something or you're not something. And that's where we at with it. Kevin 3905, I'm gonna let you in. Then we're gonna get Inspired Truth in right behind you. Go ahead.
Good morning, brothers. Good morning, brothers. A couple of points. Just because a book was published doesn't mean the author is correct. It's just information to consider. If that was the case, our hotel brother yesterday is absolutely correct about everything he said because he published a book. It doesn't work like that. Bro, these women are they out here doing what they want to do with who they want to do it and how they want to do it. They're not a part of any community. You know, even God will cast you out and say he never knew you for your disobedience. Which one of us is better than God? Which one of us is wiser than God? If these women are disobedient, they refuse to follow direction and follow orders. How can they be a part of what you're doing? You're gonna get kicked out the army for doing that. You're gonna get fired from your job from doing that. You'll get ousted from everything but a black man wanting you. But in every other facet of life, this will get you ousted. Black men our standards are too low. We got the lowest standards for women on the planet. So it's easy for them to get married. They're just showing you that they choose they're showing you that they're choosing not to. They're telling you they're not part of the community. They're telling you they got different political ideas. When you gonna start believing them?
I'm going to respond to that really quickly. So this is madness. So first of all, you say just because a book says something doesn't make it true. Then you quote the Bible, which is also a book. So first and foremost, I'm not quoting any random ass book. I'm quoting what is the standard, right? Which are coming from institutions. And see, that's the problem with black people and not understanding the lack of institutions. The American Sociological Association is not a book; it's an institution, and
Whose
that's why,
institution is it?
and that's why it gets. I'm not done. I didn't interrupt you. That's why it gets credibility. Second, let's talk about the Bible. So, when Israel, as a nation, committed adultery against the Most High, got excommunicated outside of Israel, first the northern kingdom, then the southern kingdom, in the tribe of Judah, got kicked out. They still did not lose their identity to the community. God has always recognized them as Israel, even when he called Israel a whore. Even
That's
when he
why
kicked them out. Hey, wait, I didn't interrupt you. Even when he kicked them
you
out,
did actually you did.
because you were done. Well, even when he subjugated them to slavery multiple times over 2,000 years, he still say Israel is not done away with. just because, and that is a great example of non-behavioral conformity and losing community status, because Israel, despite breaking the commandments, despite being a whore, despite marrying other gods, God did not say Israel lost its identity. And I'll pass the mic on that.
Yeah, there's consequences to behavior. It's a good example that there's consequences. And he said that he would cause them to be jealous and return back to them. And that's what needs to happen.
They
That's what
never
needs to
lost
happen.
they never lost their identity and community. They never lost it.
All right. Gotta stop it right there.
That
I
is
gotta get
facts.
inspired truth in. And that was me asking about that institution because I've never heard of that particular institution. Who put that institution together? Was that some black people or some non-black people?
Well, I'm not
Primarily
going down that
non-black, but
hotel road with you. I'm not
it's a
going down
legit
that hotel
institution, though, Roger.
road.
You don't want to downplay that.
We
You
have
No,
just,
to have
I'm
standards.
not trying. I'm not trying to downplay it, but
yeah,
I'm
these
gonna
are
say when I look into certain institutions, especially in this country, there are institutions
But
who
then
have a bias against black folks from Jump Street. That's been American culture.
I can we can say the same thing about the Merriam-Webster dictionary, because English by design has a bias against melanated people, because anything relatively related to our hue is painted in a negative way. We can say that the same exact thing about the English language in general.
I'm not saying we can't. My thing is a definition is different than some ideology put together by an institution. Those are two totally different things.
But if you look at the fine, in the Merriam-Webster dictionary, you will find the same definition. Fine, there you go.
well, no, that's not true because I just gave you. Well,
Well,
I
You
gave
give me
you.
your definition.
let's not argue that. Let's let Inspired Truth get in so he can get an opening statement in. Inspired Truth, you got it.
Right, am I coming in loud and clear?
Yes, sir.
All right, salute to you brothers here on the panel. Salute to you brothers in the chat. Let me try to get and put to you like this. If the woman is a white supremacist, then it is a white supremacist bloodline. I do not identify as a white supremacist. Now, let me put my physicist hat on for a moment and give my grand unified theory. We talked a lot about identity. Who determines who we are and who identifies us? I would like that to actually be us. We don't have to let white people be the people identifying us into perpetuity. If we identify ourselves, then we make the standards for who is and who is not in our group. This is just basic dealing with what reality is type of situation. You can't let somebody else define your reality for you. And if we're going to have a group that's worth being a group, then we're going to have to identify ourselves and set our own standards. I'll land with that.
It's not about identifying your reality. It's about having a basic word definitions that are standard so that we can have actual communication. A second point, it wasn't just identity as a simple word. It was actually what is it? Ancestral heritage identity is what I said.
Would you like a
Roger,
response to that? There's a response to that, actually. So you used
Roger,
a definition, and I was talking about something in the context of the definition. Central to that definition was identity. And if we're going to actually be acknowledging who is and who is not in the group, then somebody has to do the identifying.
And I'm gonna say not
It
just
wasn't simply based off of identity. It talked about ancestral heritage identity. That's the delineation or the distinction that you're choosing to omit, which now you're debating on a false premise.
and all I'm saying is because I'm a black man, I'm going to determine what the black community is, and there is an identity. There's women who are married to us, and there's children who live in our home, which can be identified, and they're married to men that are black men who are respectable, productive, functional, and believe in black men's leadership. Those are identifying markers to people who are in our community set by us.
No
That's all I'm saying.
response.
That's
No
all I'm saying.
response.
Hold on, folks. Hold on. We gotta let
Okay.
Shark Sims get in,
Okay.
and then
Okay.
Shark, you got it.
So I understand how you're doing today. Happy Tuesday. Hope everybody's good out there. I definitely understand where a pimp called Trump is coming from. He's basically giving us a definition, a solid definition. We want to go into antics about who made the definitions, but we all roll with the same definitions until we don't want it to apply to us. That's something we gotta stop doing.
Thank you.
Solid, but I understand what Roger's trying to say. If a female or a male is not compliant to the standards of the people who set the standards, which is black men, then they can't be part of the community. But that doesn't mean they're not black still. And I think that's where we're getting things twisted. Like, so that's why I say you got black people and you got niggas.
Right, and that's all I'm saying. Actually, that's all I'm saying. I'm not advocating to say, oh, she's whatever. I get that. I get that you can't marry her. I'm agreeing with you there. I get that she's treacherous, right? But all these things don't take away her blackness. That's all I'm saying.
Nobody said that. Nobody said that.
But you're saying that when you're saying that she's not part of the black community.
Well, it's almost as if we're trying to say that this person is useful.
No, hold on. I'm a Chicago fan. I ain't part of the Bulls. What we talking here? I'm not a part of the Bulls organization. I'm a root for the Bulls. I'm gonna celebrate with the Bulls. Every win they get is a win I think I got because I'm part of Chicago, but I ain't the Bulls.
I want to circle back in on something. Like you said earlier that it was identity, brother Trump, whatever. You said earlier that it was identity and heritage, and then just a few moments ago you went and said, "Oh no, it is identity because of heritage." Now you changed the definition that you stated earlier.
I'll read it again.
Roger, your premise is right. These niggas will not break up with black women no matter what they do. They won't do it.
And this is the thing. I'm not saying she ain't black. I mean, it's fine if other people identify her as black. I say she's not a part of the black community. It's a difference between being black and being part of a community. A community has some things that we do together.
Yeah.
It just is what it is. You know, you go to a college. Everybody who go to a college is not an alpha. Everybody who go to a college is not an omega. There's certain things you gotta do to be part of those groups.
Yeah, it's like being on this panel. If you come up here acting crazy, you're gonna get kicked off.
Well, can I finish my 2 minutes though? Because y'all cut me.
Yeah. Go ahead, bro.
My apologies, brother, for letting these jerk offs do that, man. My apologies.
You was down with him, Roger. But
I'm trying to separate myself. Now you playing with me.
But you still one of us. You know what I mean? It don't matter what you do. We still
now you want to separate. You see that?
There you go. You see what I'm saying? But so after all of that is said, black men still don't have the balls to tell this to black women face to face. We all have black women in our family who got kids by multiple niggas, and ain't nobody at Thanksgiving telling them what they talking about right now in their face in front of grandma.
That's right. And
so it don't matter what y'all talk about on here. If we don't have the balls to be black men and hold our balls and say this stuff in person, when we on first dates, when we on second dates, when we chilling at our school reunions, when we at church afterwards, and when everybody congregate by the steps, it don't matter. It don't matter. All these thoughts and provocations, it don't mean anything if you're not going to put these boots to the ground and talk this stuff downtown.
Yes, and let me add to this fact too. If the woman is left with children, especially male children and everything else, unfortunately, some of these male children are going to end up in jail because a lot of these women can't take care of these their male children and everything else, or they could be rambunctious at times and everything else, or else some of the women will just be disrespecting them all day, all night long and everything else. I mean, unfortunately, a couple of days ago, I'm not going to mention about it, but these ladies can't take care of these children anymore. They can't because they don't want to listen to us men and everything else. We just push the men out and everything else when we try to step in and become father figures to our children.
Okay, now I'm gonna jump in real quick, and I'm gonna say shout out to Irvin Reed. He said, "Correction, Shark. Not enough of us, sir." Now I'm
Hey,
gonna say,
Roger,
yeah, from a collective standpoint, though, Sharky
I'm
is
gonna land my
correct.
I'm gonna land my
Shark is
I'm gonna land my plane for today. But thank you, brother.
all right. Well, take it easy, brother. We'll see you next time.
All right, then.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna say,
Stay away from those
yeah,
white women.
from a collective level, Shark is absolutely correct. Now, I've told y'all before, we had family discussions where I throw something like this type of stuff out there here and there. So I personally will do it. I have personally told certain family members, cousins of mine who did stuff in a way that was not approved of. I've told them to their face, no, 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 no. You don't get to run no story on me. I know your mama and your daddy. That's my auntie and uncle. I know they didn't raise you to do this. I know they ain't telling you have a bunch of babies all over the place and things like that. So I do think Shark does have a legitimate point. We got to start telling them to their face in real time when stuff is going on. I'm not saying you can't be cool with your cousin. I ain't saying you can't be all right with your sister, but that does not mean you should approve of stuff that they're doing that's going to hurt the community as a whole. And at the end of the day, we have to accept that even though you are an individual, to be part of a community, you have to give up some of the individual power that's going to allow you to be part of that community. Because a community has power too, but you got to give up some individual power to enjoy the power of your community. It's that simple at the end of the day. So I'm not going to say black women ain't black, but you're not a part of the community, and having a bunch of kids without a husband, them ain't even my kids to worry about. See, that's part of the thing I realized giving all this money to people going back to school. Them ain't my kids. They mom ain't married to no man. That man ain't connected to me. Them ain't my kids. Now, if my brother has some kids and his kids need some help to get back to school, cool, I got you. My friend has some children and they need some money for back to school stuff, I got you. Even if one of y'all on the panel go through something that I would wish anything bad on anybody. But if you went through something, you say, look, my kids need X, Y, and Z. If I got it, cool. We're
No,
a community.
but Roger,
But
that's even wrong. Because if your friend has kids and he's not married,
If he
he's
ain't
not part of the
married,
community.
yeah,
If your
That's what I
if
I
was
your
about
agree.
to
if your
ask.
cousin
That's what I
I
was
if
about
your
agree.
to
cousin
ask.
got kids and she
I
not
agree.
married, she
If
not
you're
part of the
if you
community. This
if
is
your
how we
brother
gotta
if
be.
your brother got kids and didn't marry, because you said that if a woman had your kids and you ain't living with them, you don't know those kids. You said that. So if your brother had
luckily,
kids and they ain't living together, what say you? What
L-
say you?
luckily, my brothers actually get married before they have kids.
No, but this is a hypothetical. This is
No,
a
no, 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 no.
hypothetical.
I'm not acting. I mean, I got cousins who done did some stuff. So at the end of the day, no, I'm not saying the rules are supposed to change. And when I said that, I was thinking it more in the context of married people. I just didn't necessarily say that, but
So
that's how I
so
was thinking when I said it. So I can agree with you on that. Hey, I don't have no issue with that.
And
so
the
so
problem
so
is like white
so
people,
so
they have
wait,
a
wait,
thing
wait, wait,
called
wait. Let
white
me got
trash.
hold this nigga 5 feet to the fire. Hold on, we
Oh.
got him right now. So basically what you're saying, so basically what we hearing from you, right, is that your cousin offsprings, you don't know them. That's what we hear.
I mean, if you really want to be technical about it, I don't really know them.
Because
My family just that big, man. It's hard for me to even try to keep up. I don't know the names of my cousins' children like that. I learned one or two at a family function because it's a lot of them.
That's not the question I'm
that's
asking,
not
Roger.
Roger
That's not the
playing
question.
right now.
No,
All
I'm
right,
not.
that's
I
not the
just said
question we're
technically.
asking. No,
No,
I'm
because
asking you, do you recognize them as your family? Because
I
you
mean, no,
said
I would recognize in my family. I'm not saying people ain't related to you or anything like that, but I don't have no concern about. Let's say they have some issues going on. Though that's not my concern. You did everything the wrong way and you knew better. So if my cousin got an issue, let's say she needs some money for her children, Because that's really what you're trying to get at. Let's say she needs some money for her children.
What
Don't ask me.
And why not ask you?
Because she could have married any man that was involved with making them kids, and they would be straight. And then her husband could come ask me for some money if he need my help for real.
So
let her
that's what it
husband
is.
ask me.
So
but
we
that
have to
doesn't
put
make
up.
sense because
That does.
bro, listen, calm down. Don't pre-ejaculate. Calm down.
Yo,
Because at the
I
end of the day,
shoot off early, sir. I shoot off early.
because at the end of
No,
the day,
no.
correct me if I'm wrong. Because didn't you say you were taking care of some of your nephews or something like that to educate them or something like that? To aren't you supposed mentoring them? Wasn't
Yeah,
that
I'm doing some stuff with my nephews, because I do have a sister that's a widow, so I'm trying to be more influential on them because they don't have a dad because he unfortunately died.
Yeah, that's a pass. Then that's a we got
But they come from a married man. That
No, we
man
got
married my sister, and they
we
had
just doing
children.
security check. We just doing security check.
Yeah, you
That's
said
all.
widow. That's
Let me
valid.
drop
Widow.
something. Let me drop something that's pretty simple, understandable.
Okay, well, you know what? Right after you, we gonna give the mic to Jado because Jado done came up. So go ahead and say it, and then we gonna get Jado in.
So you can actually get disowned from a family. You can actually get extracted out of a community and rejected from it. You can actually have your citizenship stripped away and exiled to another country. All of these things do exist. This is why that identity part actually matters and who's identified as in the group and out the group. That's why you have in group and out groups.
I'll respond to that after Jado.
Go for it, Jill.
Hey, what's up, gentlemen? Man, I hope y'all doing well. Everybody in the chat,
They doing okay. They after my neck right now. They after
Peace, Jado. Peace, Jado.
I kind of wanted to come at it too, right? No, I'm just hold it back.
At least you being honest. At least you being honest.
No, I didn't even catch the whole conversation, man. Unfortunately, but hey, Rod, and man, I respect all you gentlemen, all your points of views, man. I come here to learn, and I kind of pontificate myself and throw things out there, man. And these are just more of that. I don't know if this, and I'm not saying this never existed, man. Does this black community even exist at this current moment? I don't see it. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. And you guys put down some definitions and stuff like, but I don't see this, man.
It don't exist.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, in all honesty, that's what I'm trying to like. What are the real binding factors, man? Is it just okay? We happen to be slaves at some point, or our ancestors were slaves at some point. We kind of look alike a little bit. We got the similar amounts of melanin, like because we don't. It's not religion. Like most of us have kind of grown up in Christianity, but man, we got witches and we got Hebrew Israelites. We got all types of stuff. I'm not, Muslims, all types. What is really the binding thing? Is it economics? I mean, are we really doing?
There isn't anybody thing. There isn't any.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like, and I respect, hey, Raj, I love your concepts and stuff like that. But what really is the end goal of this? And I'm not trying to. I'm a cynic, and I've said that before. But I'm just saying, like, what really are we talking about? What are the binding factors? Do we have an end goal? Do we have a mission statement? Do we have a similar religion or anything, man? We just kind of all scattered about. And you know what I'm saying? So I just don't know. Yeah, man. I mean, I think this is a good thing to discuss, but I'm not seeing it, man. Like when I have to do business myself, man, I just had to hire an arborist, man, to do my trees, man. I would like to have hired a black man to do my trees, but I couldn't find any, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, are we doing real like business with each other? Yeah, man. I don't know, man. I appreciate the concepts. Maybe I can learn something from you guys, man. I'm just throwing stuff out there. It just seems to be this mythological community that I don't see that really truly exists, man. But anyway, I'll end right there.
I want to say this really quickly because Hector got the game on lock. when it comes to landscaping architecture.
Oh yeah, I definitely know that. That's without a
When it
doubt,
comes
brother.
to landscape architecture, Hector got it a lot.
And
But
lastly, like we were talking about culture briefly yesterday as well. Like, do we as black what rituals do we have? Maybe maybe I'm living in another community, or I don't know, man.
well, I was going to
I
talk
think I'm
about that.
blackity black.
I was going to I
What
was going
do
to talk
we
about that
have, man?
tomorrow.
Besides what do we have besides we were just slaves?
So I want to
But
answer Jado real quick. I want to answer
let me hold on, but let me say this really
Mhm.
quickly. So because at the end of the day, and see, this is another thing, right? When we talk about black male-led community, right? Because we can even look in this space, right? You have Rogers community. Do you have BGS and Dr. TSI community, which is very different? You have niggas in the wilderness, which is my community, right? And then on top of that, you got religion, right? Because I believe we're Hebrew Israelites, so we're gonna be over here, right? We're not gonna be living with y'all because y'all celebrate Christmas and shit. So, right? I mean, so there is no community. There's just subsectors of shit.
Also, we
This
got the Kryptonians like me. Also, don't forget us.
But yeah, you got the Kryptonians, right?
so you have cultures and then you have subcultures within those cultures. So
And then
that's
you like having
another
sex
thing.
with
All,
mythological Wonder Woman. So
all communities are segmented like that. We're not the only ones.
Okay, so to the Jado's point, yeah, we do have a black community. It's just smaller than what it should be, based on marriage and people actually residing in the same locations. But yeah, we now I would say I'm not gonna say it's not sustainable, but I would say it's untenable, right? Meaning that it should be at least in order for it to really count, it's got to be like close to 60%. So we're about uh, man, we're about a third away from where we need to be to have it much more solid. But we do have some remnants of a community actually in place, and which is why you couldn't find a black arborist, right? Because if we had that, if we were at 60% plus, then you'd have found a black arborist. You see what I'm saying? So I understand your frustration there. And then I want to speak to to Trump if he didn't change his name. So you were talking about the ASA and the APA and these societies and organizations, right? The thing
right.
is that at some point, what those societies what those organizations and think tanks actually do is they may define something based on what they think it is, but once a group of people define themselves and say, look, this is what we are, then they generally accept that definition of what that collective group of people say that they are. So what you read to us earlier, okay, yeah, that's their technical definition, but we can actually change that and we can force that change by saying, look, no, we define a community is as follows, and this is what it looks like, and if you go and study us as a collective, you'll see this is what's in place. Now, all of that being said, we do have to increase that size so that way it makes it more
You don't have a
make
consist. You don't have
I'll
a
make so
consist.
you get more of a consensus. But what I'm telling you is that when people start to self-identify, that's kind of like what Roger was talking about a little bit earlier. You're making power moves and you're taking control and you exercising power and say, no, I'm not going to let you define what it is I am or what our community is. We're going to tell you, and then you can put it in your nice little paper, and that's your next
Well,
and that's your next update.
one, you so even let's walk down that mythological rabbit hole. One, even if you want to say that is true, which is not, you don't have a consensus, and then number two, you're always going to run into the obstacle what Jato's just presented. And see, that's why I like Jato and Shark, man. We gotta come up with a name for us, man, because these niggas wilding out here. We gotta get them right. So
I
so
want to answer Jado when you
so
get done
so
too, bro.
Well, no.
with
I
Jado,
like you guys
and the thing
too.
about it is what Jado talked about, right? You right. Some black people are going to say Christian first. Other black people, like myself, Hebrew Israelite first, right? I'm not even going to front on that, right? A Hebrew Israelite first, right? So if we living in a community, if I'm living with y'all celebrating Christmas, putting up Christmas trees, I can't live there. I'm not messing with y'all, right? So these are the things that he's talking about that are real to the black experience in America.
Okay, I got to jump in for a second. Shout out to Bilal Mega. Uh, he said something I think is important to right where we are. He says, but we have no ownership, and most of our women are not superior to others in mass. And I hate to say that. And you know what? I'm not gonna say you're wrong. What I'm gonna say is go get some ownership. That's it. Okay. It's not like it's something we can't do. We're actually allowed to own stuff, y'all. We are allowed to own it. So just go buy something. And whoever gonna say, well, that don't mean I got the money for it. Go get the money, then buy it. That's all. Ownership can be achieved if we just focus on doing what we got to do to get the ownership. Now, when it comes to the women, at the end of the day, pick the ones that are willing. If she's unwilling, she can be left behind. Yeah, when the when they got to the promised land, y'all, when those when that group got to the promised land, unfortunately, what Moses acted a little bit out of pocket. He got left behind, never got in there. You got to leave people behind sometimes. So if we gonna create a promised
That was
land,
the coldest story in the Bible. That shit was cold.
well, I'm just saying we can create our own promised land, and we ain't got to let people in it. It's that simple at the end of the day. So I'm gonna say, and even with what Jada's talking about, what is the community? The community will be us when we accept that we are a community, because communities that have always been men. Anytime you eliminate a group of men, that community doesn't exist anymore. Black men have been told by white people for so long that you don't have no community that a lot of y'all just accept it. I'm not living by white people's terms. I'm living by my terms. And at the end of the day, if enough people decide to live the way I'm gonna live, we'll just take over if necessary. And I'm cool with that. I don't mind dominating them if that's what's necessary. It's not an issue for me. So my thing is, let's make the community what we want it to be.
I'll
That's
say
simple
this:
to me.
it's actually easier to get men to accept this concept than it is maybe other people. I tell you guys, I have these conversations with other people. They're like, "Oh, you know what? Yeah, Kevin, you got a good point. Damn, that's right." And then not only, and I always level set. I go, "This is what the community is. This is what it's supposed to look like." And everybody's together. The men, women, and the children are all going in the same direction. They're like, "Oh, yeah, damn." You're like, "Yeah, I know I'm right." Yeah, and the dudes go, "Yeah, yeah, you're right, man." Now, when I say that to the women, they're like, "Well, wait a minute. Well, what does that leave me?" I'm like, "Well, you on the outside of
And, and
like,
my thing is this, y'all. I'm not saying everything gonna be smooth, everything gonna be easy, but hard stuff is for adults. We're adults.
Yo, Roger, I I had this conversation with my mother last night, and I told her the conclusion we came to. Like, if a female asks a man, can he do something for you? Say, can I got to talk to your husband about it. Yo, she was flabbergasted. Mind you, she ain't got no husband. It's the people who don't fit in is going to have the most pushback for it. It's
And
just what it is.
I
But that
think
but
that's a
that's not
natural thing, but I
Yeah.
want people to understand you can fit in. It's not like we're saying stuff that's so outrageous you can't get into the club. You might have to make some adjustments, but everybody can get in.
We're going to have to accept that we're leaders. And to answer Jado directly, Jado, you're going to have to accept that you're a leader. If you think about it, you come up here Monday through Friday, hundreds of people hear your voice Monday through Friday. You speak to more people than Malcolm X did on a daily basis when he first got started. You speak to more people than Martin Luther King did before they got started. You are part of the tip of the spear. You're going to have to accept that and carry forward and just be the leader that the community needs. And the community will follow you when they see you progressing. We're all leaders, and yeah, I agree that we have different factions of us that believe in different things, but ideally we believe in the same thing. We believe in men, women, and children. That is the core of who we should be. So we got to separate the productive from the non-productive. The non-productive are those who just out there having children with any and everybody they want to, men and women. We need to separate from them idiots.
look, guys. You know what I saw? I saw a graphic yesterday. Somebody was having a conversation because I flip through TikTok. I saw a graphic yesterday, and they had a bunch of rappers. There were 8 rappers on this graphic, and out of those 8 rappers, everybody had an average of about 10 to 11 children. Now, some of them had as many as 20 plus. Some of them had
Right.
about 11. Some of them had 8. But these were just the rappers. These were just
That's a
music
hip
artists. 8
that's the hip
dudes.
hop community.
Eight
Yeah.
dudes. 8 dudes, and this is what's happening here. Now we can't. We know that's unproductive, right? We can't support that. We can't say, well, these are good men doing great things and
Exactly.
building homes and families. And that's one of the things that's going on out here. Like those guys, you know, they're creating chaos and dysfunction, right? And that chaos and dysfunction is getting thrown on all black men. That's that. You guys know I had that little whatever. My whole thing is that, there's got to be a separation here, right? And I'm glad that people outside of us are having these discussions because more and more people are saying, wait a minute, where's all these damn kids coming from? Who's doing this? It's not just the rappers because, we've also profiled people on Roger's channel where the dude wasn't famous at all. And one dude had like 20 plus kids, almost 25 kids. There was a dude that popped up on TikTok. It's like he was almost bragging. The dude had 48 kids. Never heard of this dude. But he had 48 kids, and people were asking him questions and having a conversation with him. I didn't even believe it until he said it. And then he started talking about what he was doing with some of his kids. And I'm like, this dude is actually serious. We don't know this dude from Adam, but he's out here creating damage.
Well, the first
By
when I
himself.
first looked into this years ago, when I first looked into it, I came across 4 stories that equaled 11 men who had 238 children by 146 women. You ain't got to be famous at all. Black
Well,
women get
now
down
just
how they
like,
want to get down. And my thing is we have to respect the fact that these are grown women doing what they want to do. And we could either accept them or reject them. But at the end of the day, somebody should set the standard of what a black man should be striving for. That's going to either be us or that's going to either be white folks. Let's keep it real because black women ain't doing nothing to teach them anything outside of what white people want them taught. So it's either going to
That
be us or it's going to be white people.
the separation needs to start at productive and non-productive, and that's not necessarily monetary. That is men, women, and children. If you're not doing that, you're not productive in this community.
And I want to say
They're
too,
not.
and I'm gonna let Perfect Timing get in because he done came up, but I'm gonna say too, y'all, I ain't asked for nobody to do nothing big. I said men need to be productive, respectable, functional, and believe in black men's leadership. Those are not hard things to do. And I also said women have to simply marry one of us or be a child that lives in our home. These are not things that's impossible for people to accomplish. So I'm not putting something out there that the general population cannot participate in. But if we participate in those things, even though, like, even with the example of the Hebrew Israelite versus, say, people
The
celebrating Christmas,
Baptists,
we may not
right?
have, right, we may not have the exact same beliefs, but we can come together on enough of our beliefs that we can
No, we
still
cannot.
operate
We
as a
cannot.
community.
We cannot. No. If you want some pagan shit, we cannot.
No, I'm saying you can hire a pagan. You get what I'm saying? Because I get
No.
what you're saying. I don't celebrate holidays either, but I
No,
get
no,
what you're
no.
saying.
Because you can't. If for Hebrew Israelites, you're supposed to be set apart because that's what the word holy means, to set apart. So when you look at the real deal ones, they move out into these like far off ass places and congregate amongst themselves, right? So you're supposed to separate yourself amongst the heathen. So if you like, so like the Baptists, Black Baptists, right? You got to separate from them.
Okay, I mean that's fine, but at the end of the day, even
Right,
separated, you're still gonna be productive. You're still gonna be functional. You're still gonna believe
right.
in black man's leadership. So that's still gonna be fine at the end of the day. It's not
Yeah,
doing anything that's gonna hurt anybody.
No, but
all of us, all of us.
that would be from your perspective. But if you talk from our perspective, it would be totally different.
No,
It
no,
would be following.
I,
It
I'm
would
not
be
arguing. I'm not arguing that. I'm saying y'all can still have y'all perspective the exact way it is without changing anything. But at the end of the day, that's still gonna be a group of men who's gonna have that same through line. Shout out to Urban Reed who just put in the chat. Y'all still gonna have that same through line.
no,
Even
because we don't say something like black male leadership. It's about following law, statutes, and commandments, and following the Most High leadership. But anyway, we can move on because I know we don't want to get into religious talk, but it's totally different. It's totally
Yeah,
different.
we get it. You're a Hebrew Israelite. We acknowledge that, but there's others that are not.
Yeah, I
All right.
know. That's why we can just move on. We can just move on.
Yeah. All right, and we're gonna get a flow to my main man, Perfect Timing Podcast is in the building. Shout out to you, brother. You
Salute,
got the
salute,
flow. Glad to have you here.
salute. Glad to be here, brothers. The title said black women are not part of the community, correct?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say two things up top. I'm gonna say yes, that's true, and I agree with Jado that we don't have a community. But the thing I was thinking about as I read it and I listened is that we a little late to the party because, I mean, if we go back to the Black Lives Matter mission statement or even to the Combi River Project, Nameless talks about a lot. It's a couple things. This is a very complex and painful conversation. So painful and complex, complex and painful. The black woman has already left and declared us not a member, right? In the mission statement, going back to the Combi River, black feminism. So it's like if we're saying this, it's like, yeah, that's like 50 years, 80 years old. Like this is the last century. You know what I'm saying? We in 2026, Buck Rogers flying cars, going to Mars. This is something from the last century that black women made this decision. Are we all in agreement on that?
That's what I said earlier. The big told us, we just ain't listen.
Yep.
I'm saying by their words. By their words.
No, I mean I will agree that they said they want to, because my point is that just because she is non-conformative or not behavioral conformity doesn't mean that she's no longer part of the community, because community is based on ancestral heritage.
So this goes back. I agree with you, Hassas, but a brother was talking about exile. It made me think about the Jehovah's Witness where you get disfellowship. So this is the painful and complex part about what you said. What you said is true, but the problem is we the ones that's exiled. Those things exist, but for them, right? They have those things you just described in their community. The black women exist atopically and separate from us, and that's been a while now. You can go back to the Great Society. So they have community, they have structures, all the things you guys talked about, rituals, which include kicking you out, right? So they have a community. This is, again, part of the thing. That's why I want to clarify with the panel, making sure we understand these things. There is a community, just doesn't include black men. And then we got to get to, what do you mean by black, right? Are you saying Negro? Because
ADOS. I'm the ADOS or FBA.
Are you saying ADOS, FBA? Because black Latinos have a community. I live in California. If you live in New York, then
I don't consider them the same. No. For me, I don't.
So, but then we have to clarify that, because there is community amongst black Africans and black Latinos. So if we're specifically talking about FBA ADOS, then we have to talk about what Roger just said. Roger just laid out some simple things. And then my question would be, why aren't we doing those simple things? Well, it gets back to us being ADOS, right? Descendants and our dysfunction. Because Roger said it's very easy. Black man leadership, right? But you can go back to the plantation and that Willie Lynch later. But this is very simple, and it has to make you wonder, why aren't they doing? Because that's what other races are saying. Because I work in tech, and that's what my colleagues say. My brother from Yemen, my brother from Japan. Why black men don't just do this? Same thing Roger is saying. Why don't? And my sisters from Yemen, from Muslim and different background. Why don't y'all just do this? Same thing Roger is saying. Very simple things. Follow black man's leadership and marry one of those black men. You have to wonder, if it's so simple, why aren't we doing it? So it comes back to the descendants of the ADOS and what that acronym means, right? And our dysfunction. And when you get to that, then you get to why black women, going back to the Willie Lynch letter, has separated and created their own community. I mean, if you look at I was talking about Color Purple the other day. If you look at in the Color Purple, what do you see? You see this beautiful black female Mecca, devoid, and this happiness and joy. This sun is shining on them. They have business. Celie has a dress shop. They have a restaurant. They're millionaires. They have children. They have land, all acquired from you. And now they're in there eating. Are we recognizing that they
Okay, I wanna say something.
That this is our reality. So no, we have been fellowship. We have been exiled, and they have the table. That's why they say we are the table. They got the jobs. That's why the $300,000 jobs that they lost mattered so much, because it's affecting their community and whether or not how that community is made up, because they don't want to bring the black man back in. They've been solely independent, living in their Eden.
I like to respond to this when he gets done.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I got after 305.
I'm getting in on that too.
Perfect. I want to say that I think you're right, and you convinced me. I changed my mind now. I think you're right.
What'd you change your mind about?
Well, because you guys were emotional, he was pragmatic, and he lists out like tangible stuff, right? Like how they excommunicated themselves, 50 years ago and things like that, and how they have the community, and so you can really see that explicit in social media. I mean, he lists out things pragmatically. You guys were just saying, but he listed out legitimate.
I'm gonna say I don't think you heard me, because at the end of the day,
you were just saying that niggas not getting married, but
no, that wasn't what that's not what I was saying. Yet that's what you was reducing it to. There's a whole lot that goes into why you do or don't get married. And at the end of the day, if a person's unwilling to do the marriage thing, you already got enough information.
No, but
you
see,
don't
the
have
thing
to
about it is, it's just that, like, I follow the same situation as a Booker T. Washington. Community established through institutions. And the more he talked about the different institutions black women have done to excommunicate themselves and to kick us out, the more his argument became more convincing.
Well, my thing is, it's not that they kicked us out; it's that they joined another one.
Okay, whatever. But the point is that they established those institutions.
Hear what I'm saying. They joined another community. Another community established institution that they joined. They
made that themselves.
Hear what I'm saying. Hear what I'm saying. Everything that the black woman has done, they've been participating as it's like they just a bench player for the white community. That's all they've been doing. We ain't been peeping game on.
I disagree with that, because they have like, for example, buying black female owned, starting the AKA starting the banks and stuff like that, the declaring of we're black women, we're not black people, and then all the lipstick alley, black female lipstick alley, like they have done stuff. They have set up institution and done stuff. They have. I mean, like, we have to give them credit.
The Kamala Harris campaign. That's when we really, it was on the world stage. The AKA.
You have to give them credit.
You got to ski weeing. They lost, but you could say some of the backlash they're experiencing now is because they made themselves visible, that they are this power block. We've talked about the money they've been given.
Hold on one thing. My thing is, I'm not saying they haven't done stuff. See, I'm not discrediting them at all. What I'm saying is, if you pay attention to what they've been doing since they've had quote unquote freedom, they've been doing things that will align with white supremacy. We not helping them niggas in the first place because we agree with you about who them niggas is. We not gonna build with them. We're only gonna do stuff that's gonna look out for ourselves and whoever you tell us to look out for. They've been doing that the whole time. This is what I'm saying. This is not me taking credit for them. I'm saying look at what they've done with their own freedom.
Yeah, but that's why I'm saying he changed my mind, because as they were building and creating things for themselves, it was anti-black men, and that's what I'm saying. When he's labeling that, those were the things that he's right. That does make sense.
Can I ask a question?
As they were creating those institutions, that's what I'm saying. He changed my mind.
Well, let me ask you a
question. But they did it.
Well, let me ask a question. I don't know if y'all got the illest part of what he said. Y'all niggas is too late. because they already did it. So my question is, what the fuck was black men doing all this goddamn time while these women was already making their own community, like Roger's talking about right now? They done made their own community. What the hell was y'all? Was we doing?
I have an answer to that. We moved from a 30% of the middle class to 50+% of the middle class. Black men have been improving themselves while these things have been going on, right? So these women, I'm gonna tell you what happened. These women separated themselves from black men. They jumped off the bridge to commit suicide. Y'all looking at it and say, "Oh, that looks good. I want to jump behind them too." Man, let them hoes kill themselves. That's what you got to do. Listen, if you gonna separate yourself,
that's a fellow brother in the wilderness right there. Right?
No, he is not. That nigga is not welcome over here.
No, but see, this is what you got to understand, man. As a man, you ain't never supposed to submit to a woman's leadership. I don't believe in woman's leadership. Just like I believe in God, I do not believe in woman's leadership. That's against my religion. I don't care what they do. I don't care where they go. I don't care how many banks they start. I don't care how many businesses they say they run it. If they ain't doing it on the black man's leadership, all money ain't good money, boss.
But what the brother is saying is, why haven't we started excommunicating them like they excommunicated us?
I'm gonna get to that in a minute, but we got a new guest up here, somebody I don't know, so we gonna give him the mic real quick and see where he coming from. What's his Saint Swart? Is that what that is? Saint Swart? You got the floor.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That is the correct pronunciation. Peace to you. Peace to everyone on the panel and in the chat.
He's cool. I know him. He's good.
Okay.
Hopefully everyone's having a prosperous and productive day today. You know.
Salute, brother.
Shalom, brother.
Salute, brother. So I think really it's about black Christian men, black Muslim men, the Israelites. I think it's about the men of these different communities coming together in solidarity, unifying financially and setting a standard for the natural order of the earth. And I mean, the black women that are loyal to the black man, they're going to rise to the top. And the ones that are not, we have to let the world teach them a lesson that it is a hard bed that you have to lay in when you abandon the man of your particular ethnic group, because you'll never culturally be accepted by the other groups. Nature might knock you out in the first round. It might whoop your ass all 15 rounds, but nobody has ever defeated nature. So, you know, the natural order of the world we live in is that this is a man's world. And if that simple, fundamental, proven throughout human history concept is not understood by certain women, then they're outside of your protection and your provision, and they're not for bringing forth your children and your nation. So I think it's about black men, regardless of some of the ideological differences we have, atheist black men, Christian black men, Israelite black men, Muslim, etc., anti-theist black men. It's about us understanding one thing, that we do need to unify financially, and we need to set the standard again for what it's going to take for our sons to take a daughter in the earth. So it's important for our sons to know that she certainly needs to be a virgin. She needs to come from a family that understands the man is the head. All of these things that we haven't stood on because of fear of persecution in America, we have to stand boldly on. You know, so I don't want to be too long-winded, fellas, but we definitely got to do some work off YouTube and really have town halls and unify.
Well, I'm gonna say that the one of the very first things we have to do is have some level of acceptance, because I'm telling y'all, we have been socialized to be afraid of black women, and because we have been socialized to be afraid of black women, at the end of the day, we don't want to set no standard because it may offend her. And that's what it's going to keep coming back to, and why you can't change the perception of something that, again, y'all, the stuff I'm asking for is not hard for anybody. Being a productive, respectable, functional black man is not a big request. It just ain't, at the end of the day. And a woman being a wife to that type of man is also not a big request. But if we won't do those simple things, you cannot thrive as a group of people. It just don't work. It's never worked on earth ever. So what make us think we're gonna be the first ones to do it?
So
okay.
Hey, Roger, do you think that the people, what you're saying right there, I agree with. I think the people have made their choice, man. The people who are going to do that, they've done that. I believe that. Maybe it's just such a small number that we think, oh no, we're gonna, I think we've made our decision, man. I think it's
Well,
just a small number.
well,
No,
so I told you we have like 1/3 of the black community doing what I believe they're supposed to be doing, right? That's not enough to actually get something that's a general consensus. We need, I told you, we need at least over 50%. I would like to get it up to 60, and then we can go from there.
but
That being said, I'm gonna tell you, you know what else is standing in our way? I'm gonna tell you what else is standing in our way. I won't give the name of the creator because I know you don't like promoting other people, Roger. Now the creator, the way that he framed his argument. But anyway, the whole point of his video was there are quite a few black men that believe we are operating in a matriarchy. He said that the black community is a matriarchy, and he set out some guidelines and some he brought some evidence to kind of point to counter that. But he said he was surprised that when he was talking to black men, that a good majority of them believe that, oh no, the black community is a matriarchy. I'm like, no, that's again, whenever it's very interesting because whenever we start talking about some of the issues and problems, one of the first obstacles is some of the people who are right here in front of us.
Well,
So
hold on.
first
Now,
obstacle.
I would like to
my thing is this.
real
My
quick,
thing is this.
I would like
As a
to
collective, yeah, it's the if you look at the entire black community, it has been performing as a matriarchy. That's undeniable. Unless you somewhat crazy.
real quick.
Well,
The
what
issue.
he said.
Well,
He
hold
said
on. I'm just
okay.
trying to say the issue is, will black men become patriarchal? Because you are not in a system where you have to be matriarchal. It's literally a choice.
Yeah. And then
Real quick,
he did a relatively
Kev,
decent
real
Well,
quick
job.
before I go.
hold on.
I just want
Let's let Perfect say what he want to say real quick, because he ain't been here in a while. So
all of you
go
guys
ahead,
are
Perfect.
scratching at the same thing. When you say 1/3, and the brother before you saying we got to come together in town halls, and what Roger is saying, what you're saying is like 70% is the divorce rate, right? So what we're talking about when Roger says why we're not doing it is because it's difficult because what Roger is asking and what you're saying is that they're redefining black masculinity. Right? That's why it's so difficult. 30% of men come up with fathers, so they understand masculinity, but overwhelming majority, 70%, are coming out of this divorced single-parent homes, and they have a different, like you say, they believe it's a matriarchy understanding of what black masculinity is. We run up against it on the panels all the time. That's why it's so difficult, because Roger is asking men here that do it every day. It's simple. We have fathers. But the reason why it's not popular because over 70% of black men do not agree with his and our definition of black masculinity. Going back to the original point that Jado brought up, there is no community. How is there a community? There's 70% or
let me
1/3.
give you some
That's the
let me give
problem.
you some hope, brother.
Some people are raised to be a man in our community. Some people are raised up under women. The majority of them are not. This is the root of the homo thug, the hobosexual. All of that is the root, and we know this already. But I just wanted to say that before we keep going, that is two different types of masculinity that we're discussing right now. And that's why it's so difficult for the 70% to hear Roger. They actually can't hear him. My bad.
Yeah, let me give you some hope, brother. I grew up in a complete matriarchy. I grew up where women ran everything. My mama, my aunties, my grandmothers, and the men sat back and were docile. I grew up in that. I grew up with an effeminate mind, thinking, putting a woman first. I grew up in that. But I learned over time that this was erroneous and the wrong thing to be doing. And especially over the past 18 years, I have learned that I need to take my place as a man should, brother. Don't give up hope, bro. You keep pushing forward. You keep leading.
No. This is what the 5.0 manosphere is men like me and you who have made that transition. But what you need to hope, what I would like to hone in on is what you first said, is how you were raised and conditioned, because that gets to why Roger exists, why these panels exist, and that you are an anomaly, correct? That's why it's only 8 of us on the panel, 8 or 9 of us on the panel. Can you talk about your circle and your friend group? How many people made that transition? This is why it's NIW. That's why it's in the wilderness. You understand? Because you are not the norm. KFC is not the norm by far, right? And then it is difficult for men to make that transition. And like I said, they can't hear Roger's logic. It's a very simple thing. My Yemenis colleague asked the same simple question, and I have to be embarrassed, right? 70% can hear and understand this logical, very, very curt argument. He's just saying follow black man leadership and marry. This is so sequential and simple that you got to get to why we can't do it. It goes to you being raised in that matriarchy, and 70% of black men are, and only a small percent make it out. This is why NIW hits so hard, because you made it out.
So, and I want to say this really quickly. We absolutely are, black people are raised in a matriarchy, and definitely in the brooder stage, right? If you look at agriculture, because that's also a natural thing. As you grow up and as you are brooded in the lessons, and you're brooded in the lessons and the iniquity of female logic. That's why we have these discussions, and that's why the 70%, Perfect Set can't hear you, because we grew up with these feminists. Not only are we matriarchal, we also are feminists, right? Black men are feminists, believe it or not, and the guilt chip, right? Black men have this unexplained guiltiness because they feel that collectively we have wronged black women for some reason. Number two, we erase matriarchy, and number three, we are feminists. The collective. So you're fighting all these different driving forces at the same time, and that's why they can't hear us. But to drive the point home, yes, the black community, the collective of the black community, the normal definition, not Roger's definition, the normal definition is absolutely raised in a matriarch feminist society.
I was a son husband. I was a guard dog. I was a good son husband. I was a good guard dog in the inner city community, protecting my mama. And why did we live in that ghetto? She didn't have to stay in that ghetto. I didn't have to be a guard dog. I didn't have to be a son husband, but I was. You understand? And that was part of my indoctrination into my believing this was my role, brother. And then I escaped like you, but for a long time, I was hypnotized. You know what I'm saying? I was a guard dog and a son husband, and I believed it was my job to protect those people, and I didn't recognize for a long time that they were making a conscious decision, and I was wasting my life. That's why SBM hit so hard. Because I believed in being a guard dog. I believed in being a son husband. I understood that as being the good black man.
Yeah, all war is about deception, and we were born into deception, and all we're offering here is the truth.
Absolutely.
And for those who have ears, let them hear. That's it.
Now, I wanted KFC to finish his point. I hope you ain't just told the guy where you were.
What was the point? What was I talking about?
You said that someone said that we're raised in a matriarchy, but you.
Oh yeah. So before even I was watching a video where this guy was breaking it down. Now he was trying to counter that, but basically the whole point of his video and his response was that he was surprised that he found a good number of black men pushing back against the idea that the black community is a matriarch, or what people consider the black community. And he was trying to break down, hey, look, he tried to break it down as it relates to marriage, the kids and all this other stuff. And then he talked about the negative stuff, which is the kids out of wedlock and all the other stuff, which is why they have that idea. It doesn't have to be that way. We're supposed to know it's not supposed to be that way. But once you learn that, you're supposed to go, okay, look, this is what we're supposed to be doing to get it, to set things right, to set the conditions properly as defined by the men. But yeah, I'm telling you, and this is my biggest, I'm not going to say disappointed, but this is one of my biggest frustrations, is that a lot of times when we talk about issues and problems, one of the first people we got to deal with are the people that are in our way, that look like us, and that are in the same racial group, but don't have that forward thinking mindset and have the idea of how to set things right. They're kind of stuck in that backward progression and basically the status quo that's not helping us move forward.
Well, I don't know if I totally agree with that last portion about the people that's in our way, meaning the people that look like us. But I'm gonna say this: the play that has been made was the same play white folks did, and which they continue to do to this day. Create the damage, then blame the people you damage for the problem. is victim blaming at the end of the day. That's the exact same thing black women do. Their playbooks come directly out of white supremacy. It's the exact same thing. We're gonna destroy blackness. We're gonna destroy any level of community, and then we're gonna blame them niggas that we're trying to destroy on how we did it. And the thing is, because we as black men, we love them so much, and we want to be around them so much, and we want to make babies with them so much, we won't just look at what they're doing without looking through women's eyes first. Most black men see everything through a woman's eyes first. And that's where we be making a mistake. And then when somebody tell you something like that, the women will shame you and say, well, that nigga your daddy, why you listening to him? Is that nigga your daddy? You know what I'm saying? Black women have always been, notice they've been very anti-listen to advice from black men. That's been going on for the longest. Anytime stuff is presented by a black man, they don't think it means anything. Hence, Ice Cube talking to those women on Queens of Cocktails, and you see how they operated. That was unpracticed stuff. He was just a black man, even though they probably considered him a friend. At least one of them should have. Even though he was the guy that literally put you into the game and got you a name, not taking no credit for what she did for herself, but he helped you with the opportunity to become who you are. And how was that rewarded? They jumped that nigga. What was he doing? I'm over here trying to help. They jumped him.
He said, wait a minute. He said, wait a minute. Black women aren't black people? And they were like, no.
And my thing is, I think that is just the normal way that black men look at black women. That we just accept that they're us. We have no conditions for them to prove that they're us. None.
Well, in that example, that was them jumping off the bridge and killing themselves. And what should have happened, instead of Ice Cube saying, hey, well, we'll come up with something for y'all, what he should have said was, okay, and moved on to his talking points.
Yeah, he should have said, yeah, okay, you got it.
Even after they said they were separate, Ice Cube still, he said, well, write something for us. And we'll make sure you get at it based on what your initiatives are and what you would like to have. Like he was still trying to include them.
Because black men feel guilty. Black men feel guilty when it comes to black women.
But the issue is they told him, nigga, we ain't writing nothing.
Yeah, they said that too. They said that too.
At the end of the day, they've been telling us. Now that's just a very public example of what they've been telling us for a long time. That they have been telling us that. It's just we weren't paying attention. If you look at black women in politics, when they talk politics, they talk about black women. They don't talk about black community in regards to anything to do with men. They'll only talk about community when they start including children. But they talk about what black women need, what black women want, what black women got to have. We not in the picture no way with them. And the thing is, as men, we cannot be kicked out of our own community. There is no community without black men. And that's something black men haven't accepted yet. When you start seeing stuff the right way, your choices will be different.
Here's the conundrum, right? So when we're looking at bloodline, there's no community without black men or black women because you can't contain the continuity of the next generation and the generations after, and that matters.
I ain't looking at bloodline. I'm looking at what's going on.
Look, I understand why Pimp has that viewpoint. That viewpoint is the viewpoint of you shouldn't mix races.
No. I'm not coming from that point of view. So let me explain something a little bit. As I got into college and I seen how certain groups of people operate, one of the things that they always kind of harp on is bloodline in class, making sure that the continuity of future generations are clearly identified, clearly in a certain class, and clearly have a certain bloodline, and specifically WASP. And so looking at that and looking how they preserve themselves throughout the generations, and they've been successful at it, and I believe that success is replicated. You cannot have like for example, 50 Cent, right? Look at 50 Cent's son, the Asian one. He's going to inherit that business, right? He's going to inherit that business. 3 generations from now, there's going to be a debate whether 50 Cent was Asian or black.
Because nobody wants to sit at the bottom, bro. Like you're saying, continue the race that's sitting at the bottom. That's what you're saying. You're saying, hey, the black community is considered at the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to class, and you're saying continue to procreate with the same women that have you sitting at the bottom. Make that make sense.
All I'm saying is that think about it because what we are saying is that bloodline doesn't matter in the community is going to change the way the community looks 3 generations from now.
No.
Well, first of all, genotype and phenotype are 2 different things. Like if you're talking about phenotypically black, or if you're talking about genotypically black, if you're talking about somebody from the continent,
we're talking. Stop. Please stop. We're talking about image, and power is perception. And there's going to be a debate about whether that nigga 50 Cent was Asian.
Okay, this is the thing. At the end of the day, ain't nobody locked the door on black women. They can still be a part of the community. They just got to get somebody who's respectable, productive, and functional that believes in black men's leadership to marry them. That's all they got to do.
Roger.
Ain't gonna be no question about whether Barack Obama was black or not. He half white. Get the fuck out of here.
Roger.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, Perfect Time already said it. They already walked away.
Why am I concerned about what somebody's doing that ain't a part of my community?
All right, I'm done because I mean this is like a broken record.
No, I'm saying, bro. I'm saying, bro. No, I get what you're saying, but there's a Korean woman in Korea that I don't have time to concern myself with. She's not a part of my community.
Barack Obama is half white, half black. That's undisputable. He married a black woman. Look at his fucking kids. They black.
Yes, but because he 50% married 100%, his kids are 75%.
Black women have a chance to participate. It's not like the door is locked on them. You saying it like they can't do it. The requirement ain't that big. They can be a part of us if they want to be.
Honestly, I don't think black women can. To be honest, bro, they can't. They can't.
They're grown women. It is their choice to make.
I agree. That's fair. But they don't have the skills required.
Well, my issue is we ain't locked them out. So they up for grabs just like every other woman up for grabs. If they want to get grabbed, they got inside knowledge on how to get grabbed. They at least been around black men their whole life. They should have a way to get it done.
So right. You gotta stop feeling sorry for them, and you got to move on. And then eventually, a few of them gonna wake up.
Nobody is feeling sorry.
I don't think
You guys are so blinded by hearing black women when I was talking about the continuity of the next 2 generations.
I think I kind of agree with the brother. Like, if we're going to just let this thing go with what we're kind of proposing to do, then the black community, the so-called black community, will not look like a black community at some point, man.
Yeah, that shit matters.
I mean, so if we're gonna let it go, let's just let it go.
We're not saying let it go. We saying this is the playbook. Black women gonna get first dibs at the playbook.
They're gonna get in line. The black women gonna get in line.
No, they're gonna do whatever they want to do, but they have first dibs at the playbook. If you a black man, you got the playbook. You can share it with your sister. You can share it with your cousin. You can share it with your mama. You know, Shark Sin was sharing some of it with his mom. They got first dibs at the playbook. Some Asian woman who don't really talk to black people is not going to have first dibs at the playbook.
Right. They said F your playbook, though. That's what they said. They said that.
I can't worry about that then. But that's not I'm
not saying I'm worried. I don't think the brother's worried about it either. I'm just saying if we accepted that, then I mean, the black community as we know it now or whatever, it will not. I mean, eventually, it's not going to look like it. It's going to be something different. It's not going to be.
Let me give out my disclaimer. Gentlemen, please put your dick wherever it feels most comfortable. So if it's in the white mouth, Asian asshole, or a Mexican taco, please put it where it's more comfortable. I am not saying you shouldn't.
We don't think you penis policing, bro. We don't think you're doing that.
What I'm saying is that black women jumped on your couch and did a Rick James and said, F your couch. All right? F the playbook.
Right.
And so as men, part of the responsibility of men is, as a collective, the continuity of your bloodline, gentlemen.
Yeah, my bloodline follows my semen.
That's the responsibility of being the man and being the leader of your culture, is to make sure you're not blotted out or whited out.
Gentlemen,
Let me land. Because that's one of the tactics that enemy uses. There's a reason why Singaporeans are genetically Chinese. There's a reason why Aboriginals all now carry European blood. Now I'm landing.
Your vice president have already moved on from white women. Your vice president is married to an Indian woman. What are y'all afraid about?
Come on, bro.
I
can't believe this.
Now, I'm gonna say this, y'all, because it's past 3 hours. We're gonna bring it to a close. Man, real talk, I get where everybody's coming from. I'm gonna say shout out to the great 50 Cent. He said, "Get rich or die trying." That's it, man. We gonna get rich or we gonna die trying. Now we can be rich with black women as being part of our. We can be, rich in black women, but they have to agree to it. If they don't agree to it, we just have to be rich with somebody else. Just is what it is. And I'm not even talking about financially, but I'm saying rich in community, rich in family, rich in all the great valuable things that are intangible, while being rich in some of the things that are tangible. But at the end of the day, man, I can't beat no woman across the head to try to make her see how I want her to see things. She got to choose that for herself. She is a grown woman, and I'm respecting the fact that she's a grown woman. And if she can't see a win, she ain't supposed to win with me. It's that simple. Ain't nobody won just walking into something and then they just become champion. That's not how winning works. Winning means I got to learn how to do this. I got to learn to get better. I got to compete against other people who are learning to get better. And hopefully I can win. Ain't nobody victory guaranteed. Not ours, not anybody else's. So as black men, we going to have to want our victory. And my thing is, if you can see any black woman as part of your community, 9 times out of 10, you are not going to help us win. And let's be real about that. You are not going to help us win when every random black woman is good enough for you to say she's part of our community. It is what it is. Black folks didn't suffer a whole lot by trusting just random black people. Nobody checked them out. Nobody vetted them. A lot of bad stuff didn't happen. But we got to close it out, y'all, because we at the 3-hour mark. Y'all have a good rest, y'all day. We'll have another great show for y'all tomorrow. If y'all are new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Everybody hit that like button before you disappear. And I guess that'll be it. Okay, I guess that'll be it. Yeah, I got to go. I got some people backstage. If y'all were trying to get up to say something on the show, y'all missed that one. I don't think that's what's going on. Long live the habitual line steppers. I'm Rod. Oh, for you new people, we do this Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Chicago time. Not where you live. 9 a.m. Chicago time. Long live the habitual line steppers. I'm Roger. I'm right. And I'm out.
He right sometimes.
So Rod,